Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dash 28 Live. Today we are bringing you a first-round match from group play of the Quintessentially Quayle Cup to show off the brand spanking new, hot off the presses, Clash of Kings 2022 rules. I have a whole bunch of people here because this is going to be a very interesting and exciting match. So first, we have Keith Randall and Alex Kus as our players today. Hey, guys.
Good afternoon.
Don't look so excited, Keith.
I don't know where Army is. I don't know what to expect.
No one does. That's why it's so interesting.
I think we all know what to expect.
And joining me to help commentate on the match, we've got John Quayle, Ryan Munsell, Britton Williams, and Elliot Morrish. Welcome. Thanks for being here, guys. So we're running just a touch behind schedule due to, I believe, a furniture delivery. So I'm going to jump straight into talking about the lists, which I'm sure people are interested to see. Because we haven't been able to show them to anyone yet because there were NDAs and the book wasn't out yet and whatnot. So let me start by bringing up your lists. Let me make sure I have it on the right thing.
Who's going to be first? Oh, drum roll.
First up, we have... All right, so for everyone who wants to see what a Rift Forged Orc list looks like, here is a Rift Forged Orc list. We'll find out how well it performs here momentarily. So Alex,
it is a list.
It is a list.
It is from the Rift Forged Orcs army list, but I don't think anyone should make this list again.
People will initially begin complaining, just like they complained with dwarves, like, how come there are no orcs in this list? I'll be like, well, because it's not orcs, it's Rift Forged. Anyway, Alex, would you talk us through your list, please?
Okay, so this kind of started as a bit of a joke because I just was looking through the Rift Forged Orc list and seeing what they could do that was new and different. And I like the look of the Cyclop minis. So I thought, why not lean into one of the new special rules that they have? So the starter list is 3 Orclings because every list, no matter what you're doing, needs some chaff, and they're pretty good cheap chaff. And then the meat of the list are 4 hordes of Thunderseers with visions from the Rift. I took 4 with visions from the Rift with Vodler, the special character, which lets you take more than 2. So that lets you redeploy the unit after deployment is done. So, and you can just pick it up and move it wherever you want after, because they can see through time, I think is the fluff, which is kind of interesting. They've seen some stuff and they're like tortured, large, crazy Cyclopses. So they can kind of predict where they're needed on the battlefield. So I took 4 hordes because they're kind of like shock troops, which I'm used to with Ratkin. Got 30 attacks on 4s with Crushing 1, but they have built-in Pathfinder and Spell Ward, which is kind of nice for a 15-17 unit. Kind of gives you some defense against Lightning Bolt, which I might be facing today. And Pathfinder is always useful. So I took Brew of Sharpness and Brew of Strength on 2 hordes because with 30 attacks, those are kind of no-brainers. And then 2 naked ones just for extra. Another new unit that I like the look of are Hell Riders. So they're kind of like Orc Drakon Riders with Brutal and Life Leech instead of Elite, which I think is pretty good. So I took a horde of them, and to kind of lean into the redeployment, deployment shenanigans, I took Scrying Gem just for fun, to make sure Keith had to deploy a few extra units. And I only rolled a 1 for this game, so he only had to deploy an extra unit. The Stormcaller Shrine is kind of an auto-occlude, I think, for the army. It really is a great synergist. Fury Aura and Lightning Bolt and Bane Chant and Host Shadow Beast, I think, are all great support spells for this list. I didn't really take any other shooting, so the Lightning Bolt's not, great, but it's something. And then 3 Rift Forgers, also a new character that they have access to with the special rule Storm Strike. So they get Blast 2 on any roll of a 6 to hit, which is pretty cool. And then you can kind of team that up with Host Shadow Beast, hopefully at some point, where you get some extra attacks. I took 2 mounted, 1 on foot with Inspiring Talisman. I figure the 1 on foot's probably least likely to be sacrificed. Then I took a Stormbringer on Hellrider, so it's kind of like an Orc Dracon hero with Trickster's Wand, because I feel like a lot of the new spells are pretty tempting, so I wanted some Hex in the list. And then Vodler, like I said, to let me take more than 2 Visions of the Rift units. And he's kind of a badass, like dash 15, defense 6, troll, hero, mini giant guy. So
I was going to say it's worth noting he's down as defense 5 on here, but he is definitely defense 6.
Yeah, that's a typo. He's defense 6, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Strong.
All right.
So, kind of a shenanigans list, not a lot of shooting, not really a mixed arms or, list that I'm used to taking. So it's going to be kind of fun to see how this goes. Probably poorly against elves.
All right. So it's 14 drops for a total of 21 unit strength.
Yeah.
All right. So let's pop over now and take a look at Keith's Elves. Keith, could you walk us through your list, please?
Sure. I kind of did an updated version of my second list, so a little less of an overhaul. Obviously, it's not a brand new list. So it starts with Palace Guard with Fury, a horde. I did add in some of the new Kindred Archers with the 4-up hitting, 2 regiments, mostly as unlocks, and they can still shoot, or they shoot now, I guess. Kindred Glade Stalkers Regiment, Forest Shamblers Regiment, 2 Dracon Riders Hordes, 1 with Chant of Hate and 1 with Pathfinder. For the record, the Chant of Hate one is on the right, and the Pathfinder one's on the left. A Lord on Dracon. I agree about the Trickster's Wand, at least early. Stopping some of the stuff will be nice, and I really only have 1 target in this list for that. So, and then a second Dracon Lord, and then the Duracell Plus in third. We have an Elven Mage with Conjure Staff, Bane Chant 2, and Lightning Bolt. An Elven Mage with Lightning Bolt. An Elven Mage with Amulet of Fireheart, Alchemist Curse 4, and Lightning Bolt. And then Nimue, Way Dancer, who now inspires everybody.
All right. And that is 13 drops and 21 unit strength. Okay. Thanks for talking us through your list here, guys. I'm going to bring up your UB room really quickly. I'll go to battle 2. And there it is. Okay. So we've got Keith deployed across the top and Alex deployed across the bottom. Of course, you get to do all your redeployment. So Keith, could you talk us through your deployment starting over here on the left with your Lord on Drake?
Sure. So over there on the left, Lord on Dracon. Behind him, Dracon's with Pathfinder. Fury, Palace Guard is the Horde right there. The 2 mages are Conjure Staff, Lightning Bolt, Bane Chant in the back, Lightning Bolt in the front. Glade Stalkers preparing to sneak into the woods. Alchemist Curse, Fireheart Mage right there in the middle. 2 regiments of archers. Nimue next to them. Forest Shambler, Dracon Horde behind, or Dracon Lord with the Hex behind him, and then on the right, other Dracon Horde with Chant of Hate.
Chant of Hate, great. And then Alex, could you talk us through your deployment starting down here on the left with your Rift Forge mounted?
Yeah, so it's a mounted Rift Forger with Stormstrike, a Orkling regiment. Then I have one of my Thunderseer hordes, which will be redeployed after we're done here. Then I have another Thunderseer horde in the middle with Vodler. Both of them will be redeployed. I just deployed them along the bottom edge as my first 5 drops, just to kind of get them out of the way, make Keith start deploying his army. And then I have a Rift Forger mounted one behind the rocks, and then on foot behind the forest, and then Orklings behind the forest, then the Storm Shrine, or Storm Forge Shrine, and then Orklings, the Hell Riders, the Hell Strikers, and then the Hell Striker Stormbringer, and then the 2 Sharp Thunderseers and another unit of Thunderseers.
All right, great. And you guys are playing Pillage, and you're using these red tokens as the objectives, right?
Correct.
Yep.
All right, great. Well, thanks so much for walking us through that, guys. I'm going to wish you both good luck. And you can go back to UB and do your scout and redeployment moves now. And we'll see you guys back here at a couple points during the game to give us your thoughts on how it's going. Until then, good luck, and we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay, thank you.
It should be interesting.
Do we have to drink every time we say interesting? Because especially with Elliot on the
I
cast,
was going to say
right?
that's my drinking game. Isn't it?
And we're just going to be messed up by the time it gets to halfway through this game.
It will be interesting. Can't deny that one.
Oh, there you go.
All right, so clearly Alex has tried to latch onto kind of a skew theme that you can do with the Rift Forged guys here, taking the special characters so that he can redeploy more than 2 of the Cyclopses, and taking the Scrying Gem. What do you guys think about that, like general approach to building a list for this armor? Do you think this is gimmicky, or do you think this has some legs?
They're really good units in and of themselves, are the Thunderseers. It's cost him 40 points for the redeploys. It's probably not worth 40 points, but it's not a massive, cost to have to spend.
So, for me, it's like the captain, right? Which is, the unit itself is good. Like, Thunderseers are worth taking, and they're a great unit on their own. And you will catch some people out with the redeploy, but that shouldn't be why you take them.
But I think, unlike the captain, you don't have to buy the redeploy.
Right.
For the Thunderseers. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm the kind of person that doesn't like the Scrying Gem. So.
I think it's an option. And I think where he's gotten balls deep in it, we'll find out how that actually works. I avoided saying interesting. Right? I was really tempted, and I checked myself.
You're going to. I was going to say, I
Interesting.
thought you were going to swap round balls deep then with everything. Instead of saying interesting each time, we'll just say balls deep.
Yeah, and so just for anyone watching, the Elves are doing their scout moves right now, but
They shouldn't be. They should be
Alex's
doing it the
all
way
of those
around, yeah.
units that are on the back line have the ability to redeploy, and will most likely be doing so now. So that's not where they're actually going to live, hopefully, unless there's a really weird strategy I don't know.
Yeah,
To
it's
be
whether
honest,
the
that
button
would
gets
be the
shot.
ultimate double bluff.
Right.
Against a small scouting army, the redeploy could be great because all of a sudden you don't know where you want to scout to.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's situational. In some games, the redeploy could be amazing. Like if there's a huge piece of terrain that you need to pick which side the game's gonna be played on. You don't have to pick. Your opponent has to pick. But some games it may not matter. So I don't know.
You've got to look at like the setup. I think from Keith has had to make the decision. I'm going to spread wide and make it. And see, this is where I don't know why he got rid of the little like tape measure that actually told him where 12 inches was. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it. But this is he could go one side or the other. I mean, a lot of Kings of War games work when they actually have one denied flank, don't you? You sometimes only have a few elements on there, and then you aim to basically just run up and smash one side. And so Keith has had to look at going, I'm going to have Draken Hordes either side. He can't go for Draken Hordes on both sides. So he's had to basically spread his unit. So you've got the option to be able to flood one side, and you have to do it really quickly. But I'd be surprised if he goes on the left-hand side because there's just no cover. There's a lot of lightning bolts.
The kind of problem, isn't it? Is that yes, you can deploy anywhere, but your shrine is only going to be in one place, and as you say, that's a very open field.
Yeah. So I always find the redeployment tricks, and it's same sort of with the captain. And I've also seen it sort of when you do blind deployment, like for fun or scenario games where you put a big curtain between, or you do a map and you do blind deployment. It's sort of like a skill level. It hits lower skill level players harder than it does higher skill level.
Yeah.
Like newer players oftentimes deploy in response to exactly what their opponent's doing, and their deployment is heavily dictated on what they see across the table. And I see a lot of more experienced players sort of knowing a plan, being able to deploy neutrally or like stack a flank regardless of what the opponent is doing by reading the battlefield, the scenario, and their own army's strengths. So I think there's definitely room for it to be hugely effective, like Ryan was saying, depending on the terrain setup in the scenario. But I think if like you brought it to a GT, it would be a big advantage in like one game, and then it would be kind of a trick that might catch someone out in the rest.
But I suppose you don't lose a whole lot, do you, from having it?
I like that it's
you can just
there.
deploy normally. You know,
Is this particular scenario not a good one for redeploying since they've spread the tokens out so much and he can't like deny a flank by putting them all on one side? Maybe there's a side that we thought he put them on. Like,
yeah, I didn't see how the tokens were set up, but if Keith set them up this wide, he's made a very good call. Because if they were all bunched together, then the he's done a good thing by forcing him to spread out as well, I think. Because this elf list wants to be spread out much more than the Rift Forged list does.
Question on the redeploy. How does it work with loot tokens? Like, can you give the unit a loot token and then move it, or do you put it down after they're moved?
Don't make me read my book.
You mean for like push?
Yeah, exactly.
So
that could be
specific timing for when the loot token's given, isn't there?
It is after deployment and all scout moves have been completed by both players, but before rolling for first turn. So I think Elliot may be looking it up, but I'll look as well. Like, what is the timing for placing loot tokens?
I think that is a great question, Victoria Wargaming. Should the redeploy be done on the clock? Well, I think scout moves are normally done on the clock, right?
Everything that Alex does should be on the clock.
So usually for streams here, we don't make them deploy on the clock, and we don't make them do scout moves on the clock. We usually don't make them start timing until the actual first turn. For an in-person GT, I think I would tell people to do the redeployment on the clock the same as their scout moves.
Well, the same way deployment's done on the clock, isn't it? I guess, and it's just a part of deployment.
Yes, exactly.
When it comes to the loot tokens, we'd always, in the play testing, we'd always had it that you could put the loot tokens on the unit and then redeploy it.
I think that's right. I'm trying to find the book.
It's
come up
doesn't
when we
make
looked
a
and
huge
it was
amount of
covered in the
difference.
rules.
It doesn't make a huge amount of difference for the opposing player because I suppose it does because you are going to be putting the tokens down at the same time. You may be reacting to how they put their tokens down. So yeah, I suppose it does have an impact on that.
So push would be a great scenario for Alex's army.
It would actually, yeah, because you could deploy, can't you? And then if there's a whole side of the board left empty, you can just go whoop.
Yeah, just move all your tokens. Yeah,
Casually throw one horde in the corner.
Yeah.
Or a regiment, buy a regiment,
Yeah.
cheap it up a little bit,
Like it says, they can see the future, so they knew that was going to happen all along.
But but that same advantage already just exists by outdropping your opponent.
Yeah.
But
it's helpful for like Rift, because Rift Forged Orcs obviously are quite an elite army, so they can get that advantage when they're probably not going to outdrop you.
Yeah, he's jammed in 3 really cheap regiments of Orklings and 3 really cheap characters, and is still only at 1 more drop than the Elves.
Yeah. So Alex did win the roll and chose to go first, so he is currently moving his army up into position.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, that's it.
I love it.
So I guess he's figuring that these Dracons will not be able to see him on the other side of that house. He might as well get up close and personal on these archers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give
Go
them
at
less
'em.
time to shoot you. Yeah.
Where's the Council of Mages?
They are 2 of them are here, and 1 of them is over here.
Okay. Yeah.
All in the middle
Don't
with all the
forget
rest
they're
of the
all-
shooting.
They're all spell ward on those Thunderseers as well. So
Yeah.
you can run forward. I mean, the shooting could do it, but they're still defense 5. So spell ward defense 5.
Yep.
He's got the opportunity to sort of run them forward.
Now,
Do it.
Spell Ward catches himself as well for
It
the Bane
does.
chance.
It does.
I suppose when you roll in Bane Chant 4, 5, it's less of an impact.
Yeah, when you only need 1. I guess that also means that Keith is going to lightning bolt the shit out of that shrine because there's no point in shooting at anything else till it's gone, right?
And Hex it.
The
And
characters.
Oh, the characters.
The,
I guess that's
the
true.
trouble-causing characters and the character on the Hellstrike Manticore, I think, are great lightning bolt shooting targets.
Yeah, because Hex is going to hurt Keith as well.
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah, I guess he could focus lightning bolts on the one with the trickster's wand.
I mean, that would be my thought. It's 13, 15 nerve, defense 5, so that's gettable.
Yeah.
But he is on the other flank with that, isn't he? I think we were talking about having the trickster's wand trickstering the other trickster's wand, wasn't it? But where is the other?
Keith's is over here on the right, and Alex's is just flew straight at him.
Yep.
Doubles? We can't trickster. Can
But can't see him and win more than 10.
yeah. Interesting.
Very interesting.
I mean,
Drink.
the narrative player in me really wants them to just fight.
Right.
To just
With
charge
the
right into
sticks.
charge right into each other and just have a one-on-one fight, and whoever wins gets to start hexing things, like the classic old Warhammer fly high, and like the two dragons fight, and whoever wins gets to come down and win the game.
I'm the trickster.
Or just
now.
knock him from his steed. Ah!
Okay, so I think that's probably most of his movement. He's still got a couple of units back. He's got some Orklings and one more mounted character, but he is finishing up. So he's moved up very aggressively from where he redeployed to.
Yeah, trying to get some cover for against the lightning bolts, I think. Because, I mean, that's it. I mean, it was lightning bolts plus spell ward. You're going to be 6s to hit.
Yeah.
So that's going to be pretty tough to break with the Duracells.
Yeah, just don't shoot those.
Right. And so we
have any
basically
options.
got these Hell Strikers versus kind of Dracons standoff over here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a really unpleasant place for those Dracons to be now, because they'll probably pick up the character, but then they'll die for the troubles.
Yeah.
Um,
And
I don't know if they'll die. It's going to be touch and go whether they die, but it is going to be, they'll be grounded, won't they? So it'll be a bit of a grind fest.
Well, I mean, it's not a grind after the second. Like, if those Hell Strikes get the charge on the Dracons, if they don't crack them in the one, they'll get them that second time, and there's nothing really in a great spot to change that math.
The only thing he could do is he could position it so that if he doesn't break the Dracons, he'd give the Hell Strikers would get flanked by his Dracon Lord.
yeah.
So, but yeah, it's not. I don't know if that's worth taking off.
Yeah. And so looking at how it is right now, his Stormbringer cannot see this Lord on Dracon. The Lord on Dracon is in his flank, but I guess Alex is betting that the Dracon Lord will not be able to fit in his flank with the building there.
Zooming in to look at that, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I mean, it looks true that it can't fit.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he sort of threw an empty base down or checked, because that's
Don't think he did. I didn't see it. But also that could also be okay. Like if you bait the Dracon Lord out over there, now your Rift Forged guys on the hill here have a clear path to beating up Forest Shamblers and his shooting and basically taking the center of the board without any opposition.
Mm-hmm. I do like that he's just running at him.
Yeah.
I think with this amount of shooting, you've got to. There was nothing to be gained, was there, from holding back?
Yep. I do kind of dig this Cyclops unit, kind of being able to see the future, because it reminds me of. Does anybody remember the movie Krull? Remember Krull from back in the 80s? Fantasy movie?
Yeah.
Had a Cyclops character that could see the future, but the only thing he could see is when he was going to die. A lot of pathos. It was awesome.
That's depressing.
Yeah, I know. It's metal.
Bloody internet. Yeah.
All right. So I think Alex is nearly done. And once he's finished and he passes it over to Keith, we'll have Alex come back and give us his thoughts on what his plan's going to be here.
What's
How do
the
we
protocol for discussing that with
move?
him? Like,
The only
is there
thing
something
that
we're not
maybe
supposed to talk about? Sorry. When we're discussing that with Alex,
How in depth are we supposed
We're not
to
supposed
go?
to advise him. I think the
Okay.
last thing
Yeah.
you would be turning
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
We ask him questions. This is us interviewing the player mid game,
Yeah.
but not telling him what we think.
Yeah,
I'll
don't do
probably
leading
just sit
questions.
back on the first
Work
interview then and just see how you guys do it. So I don't want to bugger it up.
Fine.
It's just you
How
don't
did you
ask.
feel after missing that flank?
Like, what are you going to do about his threat from the whatever? Is not the
Oh,
right way to go.
Yeah, that's it.
Did you intentionally move into this flank charge? Into the what? Where?
What
It's-
flank?
I just hope he comes in and does full sports interview mode.
Yeah, that's
Right.
it. Yeah.
Like, I'm just trying to give it 110%. Game's not
Yeah,
over
I
until
want-
the final
I
dice
want, I
roll.
want every cliche going.
I just need to come off stream again. What's going on?
All right, and he has now passed it over to Keith, who's
I
taking
don't know
his
about
first
the
turn.
I don't know about the Rift Forger going on the bottom.
All right. Hey, Alex.
How's it going?
Great. So you've taken your first turn now. So you got to do your deployment. You got to do your massive redeployment,
Yeah.
and you got to take your first move. So can you give us a little bit of insight into what your plan is, given that you're playing pillage and the tokens are all kind of spread out, and you've kind of split your redeployments to two sides?
Yeah.
How are you going to approach this?
Well, I think the important part is I broke my own rule right off the hop. I usually try to play on 2/3 of a board, which I didn't do, I thought about waiting one side completely with all 4 or at least 3 Hordes of Thunderseers and the Hellstrikers, but I didn't want to give up the left too much. And, Keith's list is very deceptive. It doesn't seem like much, but it's very hard to come to grips with. So I didn't want to just let one side of it float around, but we'll see if that actually pays off. I'm not too keen on facing this much shooting. Rift Forgers are 10-12. He has a lot of Lightning Bolt, so they're pretty much easy pickings if I just hang them out. Spell Ward kind of helps with the Thunderseers, but I'm just trying to put some pressure on him, see what happens. I notoriously don't like deployment in turn 1. I'll just try to create a little bit of chaos and see what happens and try to take advantage of that.
You say you don't like deployment. You
No.
brought an army that is just based around deployment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Literally
So-
what they're doing.
So you clearly left one Orkling back to camp on an objective. What are your thoughts about the rest of the objectives? Are there some that you're currently trying to get and hold? Are there some that you've just written off and you're not going to bother with? Like, how are you going to go after the tokens?
Yeah, I think the bottom left one is going to be tricky to hold. But yeah, just try to camp on the one on the right, push through the right side. Keith, I did a little tricky thing with my Hellstriker, and now he's doing a tricky thing with his Dracon Lord to try and get our flying cav engaged on our terms. So that's, it's going to make me tough to push through on that right side, but that's the general idea. And just kind of try to loop around and try to slow down the left, but we'll see. It's being mostly speed 6 and then him, having 2 Dracon Hordes and 2 Dracon Lords versus my 1 and 1. It's going to be, he definitely has a movement advantage, and all of his stuff can move and shoot continuously.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could, push him back a little bit on the right and see what happens and try to slow him down on the left, that's kind of the general plan.
All right, great. Anybody got any other questions for Alex, or should we let him get back to the game?
Let him get back.
All right, thanks so much for popping in, man. Good luck.
No problem. Thanks.
Is he gone yet? Oh, yes. Yeah.
So really sort of quickly, just to make sure I'm not crazy, there are 7 objectives on this board, right?
There
Yeah.
are.
Yes.
And 4 of them are on the left, and 3 are on the right.
That's correct.
And he has decided to push through the right and delay on the left, his left.
Mhm.
And I feel like fundamentally there's a problem delaying on the 4 objective side and pushing on the 3 objective side, but I guess we'll see. there's a
Sure.
danger that like the elves win that side and are just like good enough. Like, come get us.
But he's only got 4 scoring units on the left, so he only has to lose 1 and or 2, and it kind of balances out. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I think the problem by splitting is you end up in a position where you don't win either side, and you could lose both sides. And I think if you'd have thought about it logically, you think about those Palace Guard. What are the Palace Guard going to do? Because of where the position is, they can't actually get over to the other side that quickly because they're going to be hindered going through terrain for 1, maybe 2 turns because they just don't have enough space to fit through there.
Yep.
And you're thinking that's a 300-point unit, right? I'd rather him stays over there and I'd concentrate on everything else.
Yeah. I think there's an opportunity to stack and destroy one side, and he talked himself out of it midway through deployment.
So let's take a look at what Keith is doing over here on the right to counter where Alex is pushed up aggressively. So he sent his Drakons into the Stormbringer and has jumped his Lord over to basically box out Alex's Hellstrikers from being able to get in on the Drakons.
Spicy moves.
And he's chaffed up one of the hordes of Thunderseers with his Forest Shamblers, which of course gets the thick chaff.
I'm not certain I like the throwing away the Drakon Lord to protect your Drakons. It's not terrible. You're basically just agreeing that you're going to sort of neutralize each other.
Right, you've agreed to a trade. Right,
Yeah.
but that's his only flying scoring character, whereas Keith has another one on the other side of the table.
And I think it likely gives him the whatever they're called, the flying cav for the Rift Forged Orcs too, because then the Drakons get the drop. Whoever gets the drop on that charge is winning that grind. So then his Drakons are over there unmolested.
The one thing I would say about, because you've got the Stormcaller Shrine on the left, on the right hand side, if he doesn't break the unit of Hell Riders, they're going to be countercharging no matter what, because of the Fury Aura. So he's going to be able to take out the Drakon Lord. Hopefully, is he in the flank or in the front? I think he's in the flank, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's going to be taking out the Drakon Lord.
Oof.
He's sacrificing that to get.
He's sacrificing it to get the charge. What are those Drakon Riders got on them? Have they actually got a
Vicious.
So Vicious and Elite. He's good. More than likely, it's going to kill him. It has to be said. But you'd have the Orklings probably to drop in and say, right, we'll chaff you up for a turn. Maybe he's lucky a little bit. Bane chant some Orklings. You'd do it, wouldn't you? And then
You would.
You would try and get the other what are they called? Thunderseers, the ones that are in combat. Because I'd imagine he's going to kill those that unit of Shamblers, isn't he? And then you probably move the Thunderseers in a position to take on those Drakon Riders. But then the shooting's going to take its toll.
The coward's phase begins.
Yep, here comes the shooting phase. So he's going to start with his archers, and he's going to shoot at the Thunderseers that weren't charged over on the right side, which I guess makes
So
sense.
have the archers moved at all? So they've not. So they've one of them stayed in charge range.
Ooh.
I believe it did.
He's running the risk. He's trying to go for the waiver, isn't he?
It's not a lot
I
of
don't
shooting
like
there.
that. I would have scooted back.
But he wouldn't have been in charge range anyway because they're over 24 inches apart. So unless
true,
he
yeah.
did some kind of weird stuff.
So maybe they're just assuming he's out, which he shouldn't.
I mean,
We should be out, yeah.
that would be my argument.
Sure.
It's like I don't care what the UB line says. Math means you can't charge me second turn.
All right, comes
good
up empty
start.
with the first one. No ones to reroll and 8 3s and 2s. All right, hits with the elite reroll and puts what, 2 wounds,
2
damage.
which is not really going to be enough against a 15-17 unit.
Yeah, suck it, elves.
Yeah, here comes the lightning though.
Why is he rolling 9 dice for lightning? Is it right?
It's Alchemist Curse.
Alchemist Curse.
Oh, yeah, there you go. And
You shouldn't be rerolling his ones, though.
No?
Master of Magic lists the
legendary.
spells that you
no, but he's only
reroll.
rolling to damage. Because he only got one
that-
hit because he needs 6s to hit because they're in cover because of the barricade.
So he wasn't rerolling the one.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that was not the Conjurer staff either.
That is
That
got to
one's
be
Conjurer
galling,
staff.
isn't it? You know, you just spent 35 points on a spell, and he goes, "I need 6s to hit."
Wah, wah.
Rift Forge is OP.
All right, now he's got his Glade Stalker shooting. They do a bit better, putting 4 wounds on by themselves. Ooh, that's a lot of elite rerolls.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Converted to him.
Jesus.
Yeah. 5, and he converted several of them. All right, more lightning at the same target over on the left. It's going to be 2 more wounds. Some at
So
6.
it is an interesting choice. He is choosing to just try and punch through with the lightning.
Yeah.
Say, instead of trying to pick other targets or doing other stuff with it, he's just their spell word. That's fine. We'll just be less effective and keep throwing at him.
And any damage sticks, right? Because he has no heal or a way to recoup damage, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and the last one's going after the Orclings. Forgot Conjurer Staff, so he's going to go back and re-roll one of those, which misses. So no big deal there. And it looks like he's indicating he's going to shoot the last lightning bolt at the Orclings in the back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, 3 5s still hit, regardless of cover. Orclings are low defense, so it's going to be, what, 2 wounds?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, for this, like, if you can see them, he might as well take some pot shots because
Yeah.
they'll be relevant soon.
Yeah. And I guess with that, coming back for nerve rolls, that's only a total of 10. For the one on the right, that's not going to do it. A 9, that's a 15. Is that a waiver?
Yeah.
That is a waiver on the left.
And there's no waiver mitigation.
Just a
in
Fury
the list
Aura.
outside the Fury Aura, which is both on the other side and not relevant as much to just getting shot up.
6,
So
7, 8. That does not
9.
waiver Orclings, I don't think.
This is the big thing with the Rift Forged Orcs as well, is they don't have any heal. So all the damage is going to stick. I mean, this is not. I mean, this is the big difference I think between Rift Forged Orcs and other orcs. Other orcs are more of a. They can take a bit of punishment. They'll take a charge. They'll take some shooting, but they have all the God Speakers in the world. Rift Forged Orcs have none of that.
yeah, it's a punchy army, not a grindy army, which is an odd sort of shift in mentality.
Oh,
9
look at all
hits.
Look at all those 2s as well, though. That was that like 5-2.
Look at
But he's got
Good
Vicious.
thing he is vicious. Good
Vicious paying off big
thing.
time there.
Oh,
Whew.
but still, that's not. It's not huge, is it? What? How many
Not
dice?
at all, though.
That is
only 8 wounds?
8 wounds, 9. So he still needs a 6 twice, isn't he?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a whiff.
That was not how you want to start.
That's
Yeah, geez.
Not how you want to start.
Elite and Vicious Dracon Rider, and that's only a 5.
Oh, it's got. If he can get, can he get the Fury Aura in? Can he actually get the shrine into it?
Quite possibly.
Might. It moves 10, right? 6, 9,
Moves
no,
5.
10.
No, he's not going to be able to do
Well,
it.
it could have been.
No.
Yeah.
He could go at the double. If he went at the double, no, because he can't actually get past
Chamberlain
those
away.
shamblers.
Can't turn.
Yeah.
Silly question.
Yeah.
If he disengages and withdraws an inch,
Can you see the rear?
no, disengage, withdraw an inch, and
And
then
then move
is
him
he
up to
in the
get Fury.
Fury Aura and
No,
can
'cause you-
charge?
You have to do it at the start of his move, don't you, rather than the start of the turn? Is that right?
Well, no, because he's old. He's
It's when you give the order, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I
Right.
don't think I
So
don't think it worked.
if the aura moves up, I didn't see how close it was, but if it moves up,
Oh, good point. Yeah, yeah. It's going to be
4,
close.
5.
but-
It's a 6-inch aura, right? So it's an
Yep.
11-inch. No, I don't think he's going to be in range.
Wow.
Also,
angry
no, you
Chamberlain.
can't because it now lists what rules you can do after a withdrawal move.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's
Look at
an
that.
11?
Bloody killed him. Oh.
Nearly.
They're angry.
We just missed a forest shambler unit, almost like one
Almost
shot.
Almost.
That is one short of a waiver, I think,
Yeah.
on the reroll.
But imagine you did that. You just didn't go, oh, I don't need inspiring. It's only a fart. Bloody hell.
Well, that
I mean,
was
by the way,
exciting.
again, that's damage that's sticking, so that was pretty big, actually.
Yes. Yeah. That's
No,
another
that
6
was.
damage. They're only like a tap away from being wavered or killed, aren't
And
they?
that waiver
Oh.
on the not killing that guy on the right actually isn't that big of a deal because his Dracons are still going to be free to fly, although they can't. See, it's the same height. So no,
Yeah, they can't see
that's
Jack.
true.
Yeah, they
But
can't see through.
Right, you want to get Keith on here
Yep.
so he can cry about his crappy dice. A crappy dice and then crazy dice. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
yeah, trees overperforming, arrows underperforming.
What do you mean arrows underperforming? He wavered the unit on the left-hand side, didn't he? And after doing like 4 damage or something, wasn't it?
Those ones did fine.
Yeah, I think making them 4+ to hit elves, because we're missing all the changes here. But the fact that the elves are now 4+ to hit on the kindred archers, it did nothing.
Yeah, it was a very bad round. Whole lot of 2s. I didn't get to re-roll a lot of 1s for elite. So.
They might be able to see there if they disengage the Dracons. So yeah, he might be able to get that charge on those Hell Strikers.
Yeah, I think he probably will because he's still engaged, so he can withdraw. Doesn't matter; it doesn't countercharge.
Yeah, I think he'll have it.
Yeah, and then he should be able to shoot off the 9 damage.
Yep.
Hero, hopefully. So the not killing him there shouldn't come back to bite him too hard. But yeah, it would have been better to have killed him.
So what are you talking about? You're talking about trying to get the Hell Riders the Dracons into the Hell Riders. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you reposition the Hell Riders.
And here's
so
Keith.
Anyway, sorry.
Sorry.
Hi, Keith.
I know what you guys are saying. Don't worry. I'm well aware of what he's going to do.
So very exciting first turn there. You got a waiver on shooting over on the left and nearly broke a unit there on the right.
I would have just taken the waiver on the right, honestly, but that was pretty funny.
Yep. And then the Dracons underperformed a bit and only wavered the guy over on the far right. So
yeah,
what's your plan going forward at this point? You got a couple of waivers in a couple of spots. Alex is going to do his counter punching now. Kind of what's your plan for how to address how Alex redeployed and is moving up the table quite fast?
Shoot some more and hopefully waivers. No. On the left, I think I have enough over there to handle it. I might, I don't know. He didn't have a lot of unit strength over there, so I feel like a lot of those, if I can survive with some stuff, a lot of those tokens are really mine. I think I can kill probably both Cyclops in the middle with enough shooting, especially if Nimue does some shenanigans here in a second. His Hell Striders and whatever over there is going to just cause me fits, and there's not much I can do about it. So I'm kind of thinking these 4 on the left become the focus, and such is life. We'll see if I can shoot enough stuff off so he doesn't have a ton of unit strength grabbing stuff, and away we go.
Okay. And were you planning on focusing on the larger unit strength units with the shooting to start versus going after any other parts of the list, or is that something you decided to do when he moved up aggressively?
I mean, he moved up aggressively. I have to start putting wounds on the stuff that matters. I tried to blink off the Orclings, but that didn't, that was fine. A couple wounds on them is helpful. But he didn't have any heal, so every wound counts, and just continued to count. So I'm not hurting too much in that sense yet.
Okay. So you plan on shooting and playing for the 4 tokens over on the left, basically?
Yeah, that's probably where I'm going to have to go because I think he's going to crush through my right here in a second.
All right.
We're only being quiet because we don't want to we're just ill prepared for not going. Oh, you could do this.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
We're trying to do no consultation.
They're afraid to ask you leading questions.
Of course, I'm good with that. Don't worry about it.
How did you find the spell ward? Was that really frustrating with the Alchemist Curse? Going,
it is what it is.
To hit.
It certainly affects my army. But Pathfinder is just as annoying. If they didn't have Pathfinder, that'd be an equally big deal. So
Rift Forged
Yeah.
Orcs are dicks. Okay, right.
They're not dicks. I'll tell you that much.
All right. Anybody got any other questions for Keith, or should we let him get back to his game?
Don't forget, we're gonna remind you of your plan come turn 3. And go, ooh, you were gonna do this. No, sorry.
Falls apart. Yeah.
All right, great. Good luck with the rest of the game, man. We'll see you back here in a couple turns.
Later.
Have fun. Yeah, what I was kind of going to say until, I almost gave the game away, is those Hell Riders, if they just flip to the right position, I imagine they're going to actually negate a countercharge from the Dracons just by using the other Hell Rider hero, because they can put him in a position where they can't fit. So it's the Dragon Riders are then going, oh, balls.
Well, the Dracons at that point, though, could
Just fly over.
Could go flying over, yeah.
They could duck the double, and interestingly, the oh god, I fucking said it, haven't I? I'm gonna have a drink. I didn't like the move of the Rift Forger at the bottom with the Gore Rider. I wanted him to be going up to threaten the archers, because if he was now where that 3 damage was, he could have been in a position to charge one of the archer units, but now he's going, well, you jump over the top, and I'll whack at you in the face. Sorry.
He'll ground them.
Balls deep.
I have to say that I don't like the Rift Forger on the far left. People do this a lot, so they kind of think that the individual has to hide behind the horde. But if that individual had gone straight forward and they just sat right in front of the Drakon Lord, you force a really annoying question of, well, do you charge me off, in which case I'm going to punch you with my 2 hordes, or do you just leave me and then I'm in your back lines and I can be a pain? But whereas at the minute, behind all that stuff, he's not really helping anything, because he's going to struggle to get into any combats because he's on the left of everything. He's not really doing a whole lot there.
I find the same a lot. Like Kingdoms of Men use sort of the cheap 3 attack heroes. Orcs as well have the sort of cheap 3 attack heroes that I've used a lot, and you sort of just throw them out there to create chaos and create decisions from the enemy. Because when you hold them back, it's like, yay, a few extra attacks to a combat. They're equivalent to like brutal and another attack or something. They're not that useful. But when they're thrown out to create choices early, they can be a huge help in breaking like the deadlock between these units. So I totally agree. Like a different position from that guy, I think, would put him in a stronger position.
Because you could even sit him in the middle of the hill, because you really don't care if the Palace Guard horde charges him, because then you've got your own horde potentially charging off at yourself or taking down.
The one thing I would say is I think he's also just scared of getting jumped over by Dracons, and the problem though is that like that's a tiny character. If they jump over you and you ground them, like what do you have that's actually capitalizing on that over there? like you can't turn the
I grounded
around.
you. Oh, it's
I will point out that the 2 mounted ones are not inspiring, and the only inspiring one he has is on foot over here by himself, not inspiring anything.
Yeah, that guy is
lost.
Alex may have forgotten that he's there.
Or he's just in big chicken mode, and like knows that as soon as he puts his head out.
He's the inspiring one. I love this. Yeah. He's literally the inspiring one, hiding behind a rock. Guys!
I think you're right. I think you may have forgotten that he's there.
It's a super camo. Yeah, there you go. No shooting. It's escaped everything. Oh no, Alex! No, don't say you've done it. The other thing is that don't forget that the Rift Forger on the left-hand side, he can now be charged by the Drakon Horde or the Drakon Hero.
It can. If you choose to do Shenanigai, then yes, you can.
Who would not do Shenanigai? Sorry. I mean, come on.
I can never be bothered to get the bases out to show that you can do it.
Don't make us explain this again on a stream after Tom Robinson did it in Clash.
The other thing
call to arms, and then I had to spend the entire rest of the night explaining to various people on side chats how it works and why it's legal and why it's not that big a deal because you can protect against it really easily.
We almost survived.
Almost survived with the first one.
I don't like the fact that he called them Hell Strikers because they're actually called Hell Riders, and then he actually said in the chat they're called Hell Stickers. I mean, if you're going to call them by their real name, but yeah, it's come on, Alex, come on, just realize if you turn them maybe an extra 90 degrees, just over
leave the
90
flank.
degrees.
They're still called Hell.
Aren't
they still called? Yeah, they're called Hell Strikers.
Yeah.
Are they called Hell Strikers now? I thought they were called Hell Riders.
They were. And then
Have you changed it since it was on
we
playtesting?
didn't change it. Somebody who wanted,
We're going to have to change his army list again.
IP changed it.
Hashtag bring back easy army. Oh, god damn it. You know how long it took to type out those lists? All right.
I see what Alex did. He pivoted the other way to put the Dracons in the flank.
In the flank, so they can't fit.
Yeah, that's what John was.
In the flank if he disengages, though.
That's true. Yeah, when he withdraws, he'll put him in the front.
It might put him in the front.
Also, the Mantic lawyers have now been deployed to John Quayle's home, leaking temp names from playtesting. They're on their way.
I love that you think Mantic have lawyers. It's just Rob Berman with a different hat on.
Rob Berman with a wig on and the robe.
You'll basically see somebody about this high, right? With a green hat on and a club. Oh, Jesus Christ! Just stop.
Send in the Berman.
All right, so the Shrine and the Thunderseers easily pick up the Forest Shamblers here on the right.
But something really useful to remember there, which is, again, why I absolutely love the Shrine. We haven't talked about it as much because it's not doing all the cool things yet. It fights.
It fights fairly well.
It fights really well for a Shrine. So it is...
8 attack, melee 4, crushing 1.
Yeah, so it's... puts reliable damage into things. It can claim objectives. It's a scoring unit. It's inspiring.
Fearless 17.
Defense 5. Yeah, defense 5, fearless 17. So it takes real effort to shift. It's not like, let me just pick up this Shrine real quick with a unit. It's tough.
And the model is beautiful, can I just say?
I haven't seen it
monster,
yet.
Right? It's not a war.
The renders for it are gorgeous.
It's a Titan, actually.
The Titan,
it is very cool.
It is good. I mean, I have to say, at 190 points, it's a steal because it's 190 points, guys, not 240. It's 190 points.
You'll notice the Storm Giant next to it is 240.
I mean, for 190 points is just an absolute steal. Because you just let's compare it to the Tangle. The Tangle's the same thing, isn't it? The Tangle does pretty much exactly the same thing, but the Tangle doesn't get the extra dice to its spell. Oh no, it does get the extra dice to spells, but it doesn't get the additional spells, and it doesn't have as many attacks.
The Tangle is a bastard. The Stormforged Shrine is cool. Hate it.
I like that. It's a bastard, all right.
At least you can see the
wedlock. I mean that is just I didn't have any choice in that.
Yeah, at least you can see the Shrine. You can shoot it. It's big. It's can't hide behind stuff.
The most hexable unit in the game.
Yes.
All right, so that's going to bring us on to the bottom of turn 2. Keith is going to see if he can somehow finagle a charge for his.
He did just withdraw.
Dracons.
I don't know if that pulled him into the front or not. I'm guessing as soon as he put it back so quickly, it was a no.
Mm-hmm. He might have got away with that one, Alex. It's just cheating now. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right for a Canadian.
Basically just agreeing. Put it wherever you can, so I can't do that.
Always looking for the dodge over the building to get flank charged. I like it. I'd do that. Is that because if he did that, what he's looking at, he could have a flank charge from a shrine off a hill, and then he just goes to prove Brinton's rules.
Actually, that's
16 attacks at Crush 2.
How tall is that shrine currently?
Good point. Yeah.
In fact, you can definitely see it because you can draw a line past the building. Because I'm on the other screen.
You can't do things like that.
You can draw lines. It's great.
You can draw lines as well, can't you, Mike? You can draw lines on here, and they won't see it.
Let me see. Oh, I can, because I don't have permission.
Yeah, it looks like you can just draw. So you've got to click on a bit of map that's not
Yeah.
not a model. So it looks as if you can just draw a line of sight to the back corner of the shrine.
He has to drop from his leader point, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The trick is you need to find the point behind the Dracon unit that lines up with the leader point and draw.
On
No.
behind the shrine.
I was going to say, click on the corner of the shrine and then.
Click on the back corner of the shrine.
Yeah.
And then draw to the leader point of the Draco.
There you go.
Reverse psychology. I love it.
There you go. Luckily, I don't think Keith's noticed.
No, it's whether he remembers that the shrine is now currently high.
Aren't they
Well, the
the
shrine
same?
was always higher than the. Doesn't need to be on the hill. It was always taller than the.
But
How tall is the building?
The Stormbringer is height 4, though, right? Isn't that the same height as Dracon Riders?
Doesn't matter how tall is the build, or how tall. Yeah, it's fine. It's got
the building's 6. Oh, because it's on the hill.
Yeah, so he's now height 7 on the shrine, so he can see
And the building is 6, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, so the building doesn't even matter.
See, what I did when I chose the players to take part in this particular tournament is I chose some people who know what they're doing.
And then they weren't available.
Exactly. So then we went for the. I mean, Keith is Keith the Lesser, isn't he? For a reason. Is that not? Is not that the point? And then I threw Alex under the bus. I have to give it to Alex. Is he? You know, where we drew up the list of guys and we were like looking, who could do what. Like Alex got drawn in, and essentially we had Tom Robinson on the list as well. And I went, Tom Robinson's going to take Rordia, so that's really going to screw poor old Alex. So I just gently pushed him towards the Rift Forged Orcs by saying they're really cool. They've got lots of really cool rules. And he wasn't even on the playtesting group, so he doesn't even know what the army actually included. So it was just a case of you want to take them? They're really nice. And then he took it, and instead of taking his Rordian,
I don't know why you're not in the Mantic sales department, Joe.
I don't know.
Yes, they're really nice.
I'll be honest. Probably they don't pay me enough.
It's
But
the new hotness.
I'm loving the Rift Forged Orcs, and it's really frustrating. I'm looking at this. I'm going, I'll do this, and I'll do that, and then I'd probably still die anyway. But that's beside the point.
So the question here is, what do we think Keith should be doing? But I hate to say it, I sort of like him just continuing to shoot at these poor.
I think he's the answer. Yeah, I think the best thing you can do here is sit back and shoot.
Is he got what was the I was going to say, what's the unit of like a Thunderseers in the middle, the one on 3 damage? Is that one of the high cost ones? Is it?
No, that's naked.
Is the other unit in range? So it is in range of an archer unit. So he has got a charge in the next turn when those ones in the middle die, because he's going to shoot a lot of bows at that, isn't he?
Yeah. He's got the Fireheart guy here as well.
Where's Nimue?
Hiding behind the building on the far right.
What was his play for that? What do you reckon his play is going to be? Because he was saying it's going to be his shenanigans this turn.
What does she do?
So one, it's fire.
Wind Blast.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's going to be push that unit right back out of range because he didn't put anything behind them to stop them getting wind blasted.
Or you could push the Hellstrikers out of arc.
Oh, so he's just charging back into the Hellstriker character, and then he's
maybe that's what they were checking when they did
when he sidestepped
move to the side.
Yeah. How many would you need to?
How far do you have to wind blast him to get him out?
I think it's a lot, but it depends on if he changes, orientation when he kills this.
Yeah. And that also explains why Keith turned the Dracons to look like they were going to fly over the building to get flanked. He was checking to see if he could turn sideways to make the arc smaller. So maybe he wouldn't have to wind blast as far.
I mean, it's still a shame because if he'd spotted the flank on the shrine, that's a much better option.
Yeah. You usually think of buildings, at least we usually think of buildings over here as like infinitely tall, right?
Yeah. I actually don't mind them being infinitely tall. I think when we've run events before, we've just sort of said, especially if it's like a big tower building, we've just said, that is infinitely sized. Yeah. There is no way of seeing over it.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of infinitely tall in blocking terrain, mainly just because I think like dragons and flyers are already good.
Yeah, they don't.
And putting a unit in a position where it can see and charge you and you can see and are in range of it and not charge it directly to like its front because it's just sitting behind something, feels bad. And I've seen it turn off new players really strongly when they're like, I'm looking right at it and I have room to fit, and it's like, yeah, you can't. I'm sorry.
So while Keith is thinking here, and we got Elliot, I have to ask a question because when the stream is over, I'm actually going to play Kings of War with someone who already has a question on the new rules, and I would like to have an answer for him. Slayer and Rampage are worded such that you get additional attacks until the end of the turn. Does that mean if you complete a charge against something that gives you the additional attacks, and it's something that allows you to overrun into another combat, do you maintain those extra attacks even if the thing you hit wouldn't grant them? Like you charge an individual, you get your extra d6 attacks, you overrun into, say, large infantry, so Rampage wouldn't normally count.
So you do until Monday when the FAQ comes out, and then you don't anymore.
Got it. That's kind of what I figured.
Screwed for tonight is what they say, Mike.
No, you don't need the answer. We're basically clarifying that Slayer, Rampage, anything that adds additional attacks only applies for that combat that it applies in, and then you have to reapply them each time. And do all your checks again each time. The wording, until the end of the turn wording was put in there to catch another mistake or catch another interaction.
Sure.
That was a real problem.
So it doesn't last the whole game?
Yeah. Oh, well, there was something else as well.
Okay.
The processors did a very good job and found loads of issues with it. We put these in, but every time you put something in, it then creates 5 more problems down the line. So yeah, it's going to be clarified that and it's the same kind of issue as well of when do you apply Slayer for things like Duelist and things like that, and when do you roll. So there's going to be a few clarifications around Slayer and Rampage.
Awesome. And we can look for that basically on Mantic's site on Monday.
So that's fun.
Awesome.
So rather than talking about all the cool changes, Mike, all you did is go, there's a bloody problem, right, with this rule.
Let's get ahead of it.
Clarification, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
I think everybody can see what the intention is with the rule. It's just one of those like, is there going to be an authoritative answer we can point to end those questions, or is this going to be one of those every 2 weeks someone on Fanatics asks and we have to go through it again?
We've been really keen with the FAQ for this one of any questions that come up to try and nip them on the bud quite quickly because we've introduced brand new rules, and every time you do that, a whole new thing of questions come out.
And I like that. I'd prefer it the way that you guys have the RC have really put their balls out. They've just gone, right, well, let's have a bit of fun. Let's try and see what we can really push the envelope. And there's going to be a few growing pains at the end of the day. I'd rather it comes in, we have like a lot of new cool stuff to work with, and then you slowly snip us back. And let's be honest, you're not snipping Mike back. He was only your friend in the club is trying to push his gaming side right to the nth degree. He knows what it should be, but
Tom Robinson managed to find the most obscure of obscure things ever that I just decided that we're not sticking in an FAQ for love or money because it was so obscure. And that was the wording around the overrun from the new Ratkin Slave Impaler that says if you overrun something with a unit strength of 1 or more. So he figured out that if you get something with unit strength 1 that's then devastated, it loses its unit strength and you can no longer be overrun. It was like, technically you're correct, but all you need to do is have somebody roll double 1 on you after taking 40 or damage.
So just don't hex one of his wizards while he's in a blocking position is essentially what you're saying, because he'll just go, I'm going to fireball you. You're not going to do any damage. It doesn't matter. I'm now devastated. My plan the entire time.
Yeah.
I think Keith just used Nimune's special one-time move.
Oh yes, so she can fly 20 inches and still cast.
Yeah,
So
and she's here in the middle of the table. She's no longer hiding behind the building. And he said, Nimune doing Nimune stuff. And I was like, what is Nimune stuff? And then I see there's a 20-inch move. I'm like, oh, okay.
She's got fireball, hasn't she? She fireball?
does. She's got fireball that always hits on a 4+, regardless of modifiers now.
And is shattering. Right?
Yes, because she used to have shattering fireball anyway. But obviously now everyone gets shattering fireball. So we gave her a new rule.
So I think what he's trying to do is take both units out in one turn, because I think he's going to Alchemist Curse the unit on 6 damage plus Nimue,
Mm.
because Nimwe's also got the Aura of
Cloak.
Death. Yeah, cloak.
Yeah,
Yep.
which just went off. Yep.
Hmm.
He's going balls deep.
He is.
If only
Where,
we would have
um,
seen the flank charge with the Dracons.
Elliot, where does it talk about always hitting on 4s with the fireball?
In the book.
Well, I hope in the book, but maybe
So where Elliot mentions it in this cast, that's where it is, you know, and
Five people
should
to
be
that.
recorded and then stapled into your book from now.
No, you are correct. It didn't make it in.
Cool. So spell ward still affects.
Yeah.
I don't know what the cool. She jumped in the middle, and now she's gonna fireball stuff from out of range. I mean, I sort of liked the. Oh, he moved his archers back, so it didn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
I sort of like the wind blast shenanigans more, but
It does mean that those archers are going to be on 5s to hit, although 5s is what they were before. So, yeah.
Although I guess she could wind blast these Thunder Seers away a little bit and block line of sight of the other Thunder Seers.
Well, it's no longer in range. They all.
It's no longer in range. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So he's gonna fireball then.
But now she's just hanging out in an annoying position to Cloak of Death and Fireball at will. So
Oh, look at this. I mean,
Adam Ballard has come in to correct the rules committee and said,
I
"Are
was
you
going to say, I'm
thinking of the
thinking of
Sylvan King?"
Elric Nielsen. I am, yeah.
Yeah,
Which I
there
think-
you are.
I was doing the same thing of checking. Yeah.
what do you mean? The Rules Council committee member is not
He knows
completely
bugger all. His brain
omnipotent.
is addled.
I mean, it's all those 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, stops while drunk, isn't it? And that's what's happened. Right?
Well, this is the
You know?
it's the actual funny thing I've seen a lot with game design, which is because you're sort of having to see every version up to the published version, and then the next thing you're doing is working on the next version. They're actually oftentimes the worst people about knowing their own stats and rules.
Which is hilarious then when people tell me the advantage that I get playing at tournaments because I've had all these rules for weeks in advance.
It's
I don't know where I am.
No, I've had other rules for weeks, and then we change them, and then we change them again, and
No,
you
it's
get to
it's the
learn
same-
one version.
It's the same if you work on a popular piece of software that lots of people use, and you're like, well, the internal version that I use looks nothing like the one that you do, and I have no idea what you're asking me about right now because mine doesn't look like that anymore, and I can't explain any of that to you because nothing's released yet.
Oh,
So I
more
just have
bad
to look and
shooting.
go, yep, we're back to shooting.
More bad shooting.
More bad
Yeah.
shooting.
I thought they fixed the elf shooting. What's up?
We did. Now Elves can properly come play with the real bad.
Oh, look at he's. I mean, you have to give it to Keith. He is rolling shockingly,
He
right?
really is.
Why is he re-rolling?
So moved and
No, but he's taking cover. Shouldn't he not take cover? Shouldn't take cover.
He moved backwards in the cover.
Doesn't matter.
So here's the
And the
fireball.
Dracons,
Only 2 hits, right? Because they have
Too many
spell.
rulers on the. Clean up his table. Come on, you get these rulers out of the way.
Wow.
So
It's,
Spellwitch is doing a lot there.
Man. He went from killing 2 units to not even killing 1. Although he'll probably waver both of these now. Watch this. He will waver both.
man, that was horrific.
It was because he's on 5s to hit with both of those archer units, rerolling 1s.
I'm really wishing the Dracons had seen that charge now,
Yeah.
because I
Or
feel
use
like
Mimi or the wind blast Hellstriker.
Oh, hang on. What's this? Oh, that's the in the background.
That's lightning, probably.
Why is he on 6s to hit?
No, he's on 5s, isn't it, from the
Oh, he's
It's 5.
Oh. I don't know. No, yeah.
Yeah, that one
it's a
rerolls
Conjurer's.
Conjurer's staff.
Conjurer's.
Yeah,
Conjurer's.
that's a Conjurer's staff reroll.
Yeah. Still only 1 damage. Oh man.
Although wavering
Hashtag-
that front one is really good because in the back one can't charge either.
True.
Yeah.
True. And they are what, 15, 17?
Yes. So 8 is a waiver. 8 is still a waiver. There's no dread on Nimue, is there? I don't think there is there? No.
I think so.
Well,
No.
I'm making it up. I'll check the book.
No, I'm looking at it.
Two
She doesn't have it.
Oh, so it's the Auckland's out
10.
there. Bang. Take that.
Yep.
Orc bitches.
They're sitting on an objective till the end of the game for you. That's a 9
Is he
on an 8.
inspired?
That is a 17. I don't think it's inspired unless that monster does, right? This Titan.
Yeah, he does.
3/6. Yeah, he's out. But he's out.
He's not very inspiring. I can't remember. This is where they're looking and going, he's inspiring. He's very inspiring, isn't he?
Volker, is that who he is? He is
Volker.
just inspiring.
He's dead.
That picks that up. Okay.
Well,
B-Dog.
he's doing his plan, taking the left side of the board.
He is, yeah. There's a 6 rolled for the one in the middle. That will not get that one.
No, he's not destroying it.
I mean,
love the
that's-
fact. Oh, sorry.
That could have gone worse, couldn't it?
Yeah, but the sort of situation is that Alex is giving up his entire left side sort of one at a time.
Yeah.
And what he is gaining out of that isn't much, because I think they will still have time to spread out and take those tokens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
he only has to kill one unit on the left-hand side, and it all balances out again, doesn't he? Because he's only got 4 units to take 4 tokens.
Yeah,
But the problem is, one of those is a Drakon Lord that can just not be there anymore. If it chooses to be.
Yeah.
One of them is a Palace Guard Horde that can quite feasibly take out both those units.
Yep.
And still survive.
Look, stop being negative, right?
And one of them is the newly buffed, overpowered Gladestalkers that can probably take them all out by itself.
Yeah, because they hit on 3s. Not that their armor's made of paper.
I just think that, like, and those Hell Strikers have a good shot at, it's not guaranteed, but have a shot at killing the Dracons in 1. And then
not guaranteed.
repositioning, but
It would be really helpful for him if they did
Yeah.
do this in 1. And this is where the Shrine's going to have to turn around, I think, and be enchant. And
yes.
Has he
start
got
doing
the Rift
shiny
Forger
things.
in range? Is the Rift Forger on the bottom right, in range?
Just
of
out by the look of it.
Yeah, just
I think just out, yeah.
No, he's
Potentially getting
16.
range
He's
by
16, so
10.
he's the yellow, not the red.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of green visible.
Can he
Yeah.
spin it though?
Actually,
He
can
could possibly
maybe
spin
spin
it. It's going to be close, but
Shenanigans. All right, so here's a charge up the middle.
Yeah.
So top of 3,
Expected.
that's proper charge.
That's what you get. Whatever happens to them is deserved after their shooting.
Right.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Right.
Kindred my ass. Fucking like slum archers. That's what you are. Fucking slum.
But I mean, it is interesting that he went. What he was saying in his army building discussion was, he took them. He basically took them as unlocks. We're sort of, two regiments of archers that hit on 4s. This hasn't gone. This is a very shooting heavy list, but it's not the classic like horde of archers.
Right.
But if he set those back maybe by about 6 inches or so and just went, I'm not going to take the first turn of shooting because I'm never going to advance and shoot at you. Am I better off just holding off, shooting you with a lot of like a damage and then just not giving you a turn 2 charge, and just like hold back? But would you take those? They're 140 points now, and compared to Gladestalkers that are 175. Would you take Kindred Archers over Gladestalkers?
I'd definitely take the Horde. The Horde is a
Depends
really good
on
option.
on if I need like 30 points or something.
Would you take a Horde to unlock what though?
Well, in the Twilight Kin, I'd take Hordes because
In the
So
elf army, would you take hordes?
Don't-
Because
don't
you
play elves.
only you don't bloody help at all, do you, Elliot?
No,
Right?
you got Dracons for that.
If you had bolt throwers, you might take hordes, but you wouldn't take hordes.
You're taking them to unlock Mind Screechers.
Got
mean-
you. Right, yeah, I didn't realise you could do that in an elf army.
You can in the proper elf army.
Fuck.
Sylvan,
The more edgy, cool elves.
the gothy elves.
Yeah, they really like eyeliner.
I mean, I'll be honest, Elliot. Right, you're not being, kind of let's encompass all the good things, right? Anyway, so you wouldn't take Kindred Archers in an
I
elf
like them in
army?
regiments now.
All right.
In regiments, I like them for elves, and I think they feel more elfy to me now. That yes, they're going to be more expensive, but everything should be very good at what it does. Whereas the old regiments were good because they were a block of nerve and scoring, and they happened to have a bow attack, and that didn't feel very elfy because
I agree with you. Yeah.
They
shouldn't
were
have
human
a unit.
archers.
Yeah, they shouldn't have a unit that was just there just to be an unlock and be a block of nerve.
Because that's what they were, weren't they? At 120 points, you were going, I could take these. They're cheap. They do a bit of damage. Great. But in reality, you don't do that in an elf army, do you?
No, everything wants to be the elite, the best of the best. I think
so
they're
he's
really,
turned the shrine to face his Hellstrike.
Could have shooting with them now. Think about damage.
So I think we're expecting to see the Bane Chant there, like we were talking about.
If he realized what the shrine did, and the shrine actually says the first spell that it casts, you'll have to see a unit in range. So he could move into a position where he casts the first spell on a unit that's in range. Then the second spell, you can cast another unit within 12 inches, and it doesn't need to be in line of sight whatsoever. So you could actually go move him forward into a better position, cast it, almost completely useless spell onto one of the Rift Forged units over there on the central right, and then go, I can now do the Hellstriders. I can't even see them, but I've got a 3 dice Bane Chant.
Yeah, I actually think that makes sense, and it's a very important part of the rule that I think is useful in a lot of other times. One, I think 4 dice against 3 dice Bane Chant. 3 dice should still work, but no, he's not even getting the full buffs, right? He's only going to be on 2.
The
+2
guy on what's it called?
Rift Forger.
The Rift Forger is going to give him 1, plus each of the Thunderseer units will do. But admittedly, he might not get within 6-inch ranges of all of them. But the Hellstriders do it as well. So, but
what I was going to say,
token?
Yeah. What I was going to say is I think that shrine is going to be parked there for the rest of the game, sitting on that objective. If you leave the Orklings out in the open against this elf list, that's just a recipe for a turn. 5 or 6, they get lightning bolted off, and you no longer have that objective. So I think the shrine is parking and just going to be a lightning bolt battery for the rest of the game. Sure. After this very crucial Bane Chant.
This is a very crucial turn. I mean, turn 3. As you say, the left-hand side is very important to Keith because that's the thing that's going to keep him in the game. The more that I think Alex can delay him on the left-hand side, the better, so that he can mop up what's on the right-hand side. When I say mop up, well, actually, he can't hit anything with his archers. So as long as he just keeps running in and hitting him in the face, he'll be fine.
I mean, I sort of liked he's backed off from this now, but there was a moment where he had the damaged Thunderseers sort of pointed towards the middle.
On the right, yeah.
But the truth is, they're walking wounded.
Yeah. I think both those
dead.
mystery units are not long for this game.
Yeah, you're right. They are both dead. And the fact he's only just got the Rift Forger out from under the crevice that he was hiding in. If he would have been there early doors, then those wizards wouldn't have done what they've just done. They'd have gone, oh, hang on. I don't want to get punched in the face.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay.
All right. Here comes the shooting phase. We're expecting to see a Bane Chant. Yep, there it is. Over here to here. Because he really needs to get rid of... Actually, he doesn't need to get rid of the Dracons. He just needs to keep them from killing this shrine before the end of the game at this point,
Yeah,
right?
but the shrine at the moment isn't even inspiring the Dracons.
He needs the Hellstrikers to get free of this right-hand flank and
doing one
turn 6 or turn 7 influence the left-hand side.
You're right there, 100%.
He needs
Sure.
he needs to blow through them in one so that he can get moving. If those Dracons survive and he's dicking around turn 4 to finish them, he's in trouble. Because it's going to be really finely balanced. Like we're saying, if Elliot loses one scoring unit on the... Or not Elliot, sorry. If Keith loses one scoring unit on the left, then he doesn't have what he needs.
The Rift Forged does, yeah. So you want to answer in there, Mike, that the Rift Forged does add +1.
Yep.
Although, sorry, Elliot, does the Rift Forger give him an extra dice for his Bane chant?
Yes. Yeah, so I'm reading the rule, and it says for each other friendly core Rift Forged unit.
No! Oh!
So
rolling d6s, wasn't he? Well, yeah,
every ogre player has always managed to fail a Bane chant 5 or 6 at one point with them.
Orc player with the God Speaker. Yeah. I've got like Bane chant 6 with this. Oh no, I've failed.
Failing your 1-inch surge roll with 6 dice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've all been there.
It's okay because you got the Conjurer's Staff, which always.
It's only got 5 damage. It's only got 5 damage.
7.
No, it's got 7 damage.
So when he rolled an 8, that's a waiver. That's a 15 total.
Okay.
16 with the brutal, but yeah, it's enough.
16 with brutal. Oh, they're brutal too. Nice.
Yeah, they let's talk about the Hellstrikers for a moment because they have everything you want in flying cavalry. They are brutal.
Look at them.
They are.
And they have life leech. What?
Crush 1, Thunderous 1, and life leech.
I don't know if they have everything. I mean, I'm still looking forward to using, the Sister Panther Lancers who have Pathfinder, Elite, Vicious, Fury, everything built in. They're going to be great at the Defense 3, but apart from that, right, you got everything else built in.
Yeah. No, I actually. Speaking of that, and I think we'll see it from
short work.
Jeremy maybe tomorrow, but there's some very sort of interesting high speed Basilian lists that are possible now. That should be a lot of fun to play.
Yeah. And thanks for mentioning that, Brenton. Tomorrow we do in fact have Jeremy Duvall versus Ed Herzig, which will be starting at 6 p.m. GMT, 1 p.m. EST tomorrow afternoon.
And it will be very, very interesting.
Yeah, because that's going to be Basileans versus Free Dwarves, I think.
Oh yeah, sorry. Everybody together. Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm loving this tournament. I mean, we threw all the matchups together, and there's so many games you want to watch, don't you? You just go, "Oh, what about that? That'd be awesome."
Oh, don't do that.
Nope.
So that was a very bad move.
That's exactly where he wants to go.
Yeah. So to explain why I don't do that, backing up the Dracons there means that now when the Hellstrikers charge and reform, they're in the perfect position, whereas otherwise they'd be stuck behind that building.
Yeah.
Right.
And
yeah,
also,
but what can they charge on the other side? I mean, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference on this.
But they're in the perfect. Like you almost couldn't be in a better position there.
Yeah.
For a reform. Whereas
they're actually further away. I would almost be tempted with the Dracon Riders to withdraw and then sidestep, just so that the.
You couldn't sidestep and wave.
All right, we should be getting Alex back here in a moment.
Why can't they sidestep?
Not when you wavered. It's back up.
They are wavered. Yes. Yeah, you're well played. Yeah. I mean, especially it's the only way you can get them further away, because even if they were to be where they were and then Hellstriders were to turn, they would be closer because they were never going to be able to engage anything on the left-hand side. So it's just
Alex.
How far they can run over.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Hi.
All right, so those are your first 3 turns. How do you feel like your plan's going so far?
I think the plan's going about as well as I expected. so poorly.
You got bloody lucky. Let's be honest, right? The
waivers
the
waivers sucked, and then missing that Bane chant means I didn't I should have picked it up with the rolls I had if I had made the Bane chant. So that would have helped a lot. Yeah, it's just he got a couple of good waivers on turn 1, and his shooting wasn't great on turn 2, but
Wasn't great.
Right. It was not great.
That's
was
like
terrible.
the understatement.
Diabolical.
yeah, his shooting was terrible at turn 2, but like, I think turn 1, the 2 waivers was enough to like kind of slow things down enough. Like obviously he probably would have she should have killed the Hellstriker champion. So the waiver was actually good for me there. Yeah, this list doesn't have a lot of tools to deal with this kind of nebulous list, unfortunately.
Sure.
When you say that, you mean the Thunderseer variant skew list, right?
Yeah, like this particular like list that I made is not an all-comers list. It does not.
And whose fault is that? Let's be honest.
Right? It's definitely mine. This is a list for.
I'm going to say it's definitely John's for giving you the armor you'd never seen before.
Yeah,
I helped him, right? Anyway,
I had a decent all-comers list that's similar to like what I've been playing for the past couple of years, which I just chose to take something that seemed kind of fun, and that's on me.
And you'll never make that mistake again.
Yeah. So as soon as I got matched up with Elves, I'm like, well, that's just not going to go well. And so I just wanted to see if I could like force the issue a little bit and like kind of create some havoc, but it got slowed down a little.
Did you forget the Rift Forger in the with Inspiring?
No, I just didn't want to. He's just going to get lightning bolted and fireballed and shattered, and so I just wasn't sure what to do with them on turn 1 and 2. So that was just like depending if I could turn left, if things went quickly on the right side, which they didn't. Yeah, it's just not a great position for him. Yeah, that's very true. They did not want. Like, they thought it was funny, but my group chat that I posted this list to first, like, yeah,
it takes courage to go for a list that's just a little bit different. And I think this tournament is all about. We're just going to try stuff out, see what happens.
Yeah, I'm not too invested in it. Like it's a fun list to try, and I think in certain scenarios it's going to have an advantage, and against certain armies it just won't work, and some armies just don't care about being able to redeploy. And I'm probably not great at redeploying. Like I think. I probably didn't do it the best way possible. I'm sure if I go back and watch this, you guys will let me know what I did wrong.
So it's Alex Thunderseer Kus, isn't it, from now on? I'm sure that's the terminology you should be using.
Visions from the Kus.
Visions from the Kus. That'll be the title of the summer campaign. You heard
Memoirs.
It here first.
Memoirs. That's what it's going to be.
I sound morose, but yeah, it's just Keith is playing playing very well. This list is his, like, it fits him like a glove. He's been playing something like this for quite a while. He knows exactly what he's doing with it and knew how to tackle this list for this scenario. So he's playing very well.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for popping in. Good luck with the rest of the game, and we'll see you back here when we're all done.
Thanks.
So, in the chat, Adam Ballard has raised a point, which is Dracon's backing up gets him out of range from the Orklings and forces the Hellstrikers to finish him off.
Would Orklings cause enough damage to actually kill? Maybe they do.
Well, he could charge with the Rift Forger on the hill and the Orklings, and those should put like 2 or 3 wounds on, and then he could at least keep them on the ground or waver them again.
Yeah, that's not like it.
But I was going to say that's a huge risk. You're talking about going, if I don't get any damage, I'm fucked. It's essentially what you're doing.
So I've been joking about, or not as much as I should be, about how bad Alex's list is. I don't actually think it's that bad.
I don't think it's bad at all. I was going to say, I think to very respectfully disagree with him. He had all the tools to deal with a shooting list, and then just chose not to use any of them.
He's a pessimistic Canadian. That's what he is. Yeah.
I looked at this list, which was heavily Pathfinder, heavily Spell Ward,
load of chaff, load of fancy individuals,
fast individuals, Orklings to give cover, and I said it actually has a lot to deal with the shooting. 2 Dracon Hordes, 2 Dracon Lords is still going to be tough. Like, there's a reason they're in the list. Good player with those tools is hard to deal with, but. Yeah, I felt like this shouldn't just be like, oh, I took a fun list. And this is going to sound a lot more mean than I intended to be. Alex, you're a good guy. But like, this is not, I took a fun bad list and this was an inevitable play out of that. I think he didn't use the tools he had very well.
No, I
so
agree. I understand the fear of he's got so much lightning bolt, I need to hide these things at the back. But so what happens then is you lose all your main line units and the stuff at the back sits there and does nothing.
Yep.
Run them forward. If you lose them all, what a shame. You've still got your entire main line left that's now untouched because he's been too busy shooting all of your piddly little things.
Yeah.
If he doesn't shoot your piddly little things, that then charges all the shooting and the shooting is no longer a problem. So he's kind of gone for the worst of every world by hiding the individuals and the chaff at the back and letting his Thunder-Seers be the one take the brunt of all the shooting.
I don't know if that is the case. I really don't, because the spell ward you're talking about, like he's talking. Keith is his Duracell battery. He's running essentially 17 lightning bolt with elite, but lightning bolt against spell ward he's seemingly going. That's already 5s to hit.
But then he's also got another 32 bow shots
and the defense 5. So you're still talking a very.
He's now lost one unit. He's got 2 of them on a good amount of damage from shooting. And all the other tools that could have dealt with it are nowhere to be seen and not involved in the game.
But his Orklings are still
you've got to score.
Unit. Yeah, the Orklings are still scoring. One Orkling unit is already scoring. You've got another second one on the right-hand side who is going to score.
It'll get shot off.
Yeah, but surely better if the Elves were dead.
Yeah.
Rather than leaving one of your Orklings to score, surely better if the Elves were all dead and couldn't score.
I mean, considering that he's got 2 mounted individuals who so far have done nothing in the game and could have done anything.
They could have taken an archer regiment out.
2 mounted, they should have been more to the fore. I mean, the Orklings no, but definitely the mounted individuals. Yeah. You're throwing those forward, just causing 1 point of damage in the archer regiment. It's just game over for that archer regiment because it can't do anything afterwards. Yeah.
And that's the thing for me is his right hand flank looks a million times better. If that mounted individual or 2 mounted individuals were steaming out from it, almost the minute they're in range, 1 turn after that and going in.
First turn, they should have both been behind that barricade in the middle. Right? Yeah. If they'd have been behind the barricade in the middle, you're going, great. All right, I'm now in a position to charge anything I want to and cause that point of damage to negate either a mage or an archer unit, and you're going, great, fantastic. And then I can move everything else into position. And I didn't like the one on the left-hand side. Even with your talking about putting him right in the front, it doesn't make a big difference. I think he would have been better off using on the right-hand side. But I think let's be fair to Alex. This is an army that he has just been thrown at and just gone,
but
deal with this.
So, and here's what I find is sort of a useful tip, maybe. For folks looking at these new units or picking up a new unit that they're seeing from Clash of Kings, whether it's a UB or you're actually building the unit, don't worry about the name of the unit. Worry about its role, like what it does and what it does well. And if you have a cheap mounted character that's good for a few wounds, it doesn't matter what it's called. Use it the same way he would use it in a Rordia list or something else or undead that he is used to. Like those battlefield roles, if you can break them into your head into those things they do well, then it should give you a head start on playing the army. So
right, and in this case, the mounted characters we're talking about don't even inspire, so he's really getting nothing out of holding them back.
Yeah, they
behind
don't.
Things.
They don't score.
The one that does inspire is sat there.
I think he was. I think he fell in love with the idea that. He's going to get a giant host shadow beast on them. They're going to storm strike. They're going to bump up some combat that should have been a not win into a win, and that's how he's going to use them. It's like combat multipliers, and that just hasn't come up. And you're facing archers, you don't need the combat multiplier. You need them in front, turning off shooting.
Yeah,
right. That'll be great when the Palace Guard Horde is the only thing left on the table, and he can one shot it by triple charging it and stacking all the buffs and all, but he's got to get rid of everything else before he can do that cool thing. And everything else, like you say, they're archers. They die to any of his combat units.
So what you're leaning towards, you're saying that they're such good units and they've got so many options available. You've got to really let's use them in the plan to achieve the thing that I need them to achieve first, rather than going, this is the best possible use for them. Well, not necessarily the best possible use, but this is the thing.
The coolest.
The coolest.
well, the thing
That's
I
a
always
good
think
word.
about
Coolest.
is good enough.
Yeah.
It's the project management way of thinking, isn't it? Of don't try and get the absolute ultimate scenario. Get the good enough scenario.
Minimum viable charges.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you're not gonna do well, are you, when you're trying to set up this perfect situation each time, and then you do yourself out of
and it's
much better
very rarely
situation
going to
rather than
happen as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're talking about a situation to get 3 individuals into one combat to make the most of the multiple spells from a shrine. That's not going to happen very often. It's just a threat, isn't it? It's something you could do, as you say, late game, but you're better off using those individuals to kind of just pin things in place, especially when you're trying to cross the board as quickly as possible and you've got 2 16-inch move units who are actually behind the 12-inch move units. And you're going...
It could be up front, because if they get charged and killed by Dracons, who cares? Because then you've got a horde behind it who will avenge him quite happily.
They're purpose built for this job almost, which is turn off shooting on an archer unit. The archer unit may probably not kill you back. And then you bounce to the next archer unit or a mage or anything else.
A Dracon horde so it can't fly through you. And
like having those combat individuals ping-ponging around his line is an elf player's worst nightmare. They have to use resources to shoot them down. And
in this situation, Orc Crushers or Orc Rift Forgers, sorry, I'm not going to confuse what they're actually called, but they actually are better than Gargoyles. Because Gargoyles do the same things as a Crusher, because they don't suffer the -1 hit for an individual. They're not small. They're not defense 5, right?
They charge all directions.
They charge all directions. Gargoyles go, I'm going to run in front of you. Blah, oh, I'm dead. Oh, crap. Whereas, Orc Crushers run in front of you, go, oh, you got to hit me first. Pretty tough. And then they smash you in the face. You go, yes, I should respect them. And scarily, normally they're cheaper than Gargoyles, but they've got the Storm. I don't remember what it's called now. Stormbringer? No, it's not Stormbringer. Storm Strike.
Yeah.
Which for an extra 10 points makes them super good, because if you're lucky to get a 6 hit, you got 2 hits.
Do you think it's worth it from the 3 attack ones? I like it a lot on the more attack.
100%, because 1 Shadow Beast turns a Rift Forger from being a terrible unit, not a terrible unit, but a very good unit into a super good unit.
I'm with Elliot. I don't like it on the 3 attack ones.
Elliot didn't agree with you. Agreed with me.
I agree with both of you. You're both right.
You talked him into it. I mean, I think it's okay if you have the extra 10 points, but I don't love it on them. It's it's a chance to turn 1 6 into 2 hits usually. But I also think
Stormbringer spell makes 1 Shadow Beast spell makes a huge difference on that rule. If it's not a Shadow Beasted Rift Forger, yes, it's luckily you get 6. But
so I mean, you're usually only giving them 3 or so attacks from the Shadow Beast.
Yes, but you're then talking about 1 extra 6, which is 2 hits, and then that's usually an extra point of damage because they crush 2. So it does make a big difference, especially because you've got the access to the Stormcaller Shrine.
Yeah, I think.
And that's the big difference. I think
for me, it's sort of like insurance on rental cars. You either get it every time, and the times it goes off, you're like, yes, that was totally worth it because of that time. Or you never get it and just stick to that never buying it and save the points and use it somewhere else and never even think about it.
But that's why we play a dice game, don't we? That's, I mean, you look at his Hell Striker not going down to a Dracon Horde. It's when it works well. And I guess, you're right. When I say definitely take it because it's always going to work. It's not always going to work. I think definitely take it because it can work. And I think sometimes in Kings of War, you're talking about not necessarily what does work, but the threat of what does work. And sometimes actually communicating that to your opponent going, this has happened in the past. They go, oh, crap, I don't want to deal with that. Right?
So you'll be reminded.
Yeah.
You're
Archers still doing
reminding
1 damage.
The archers.
I got 5-10 minutes and I got to go.
Okay, that's cool. Thanks.
Cheers, Ryan.
Yeah.
No worries.
On these halls at the top here, I would have preferred the left-hand side hall to be facing to the left and giving a rear charge to the archers.
Sure.
In fact, looking at the angle, it might have been a pivot to avoid a rear charge. Just for the fact that it's now facing the totally wrong way, because it
Yeah. And the
it
wizards have
doesn't
free
need
reign.
those two just to take out one archer regiment.
But I guess he figured he was going to lose one of those two
One of
hordes
them,
anyway to
yeah.
shooting, and if he points both of them that way, then he's guaranteed to get a charge off on at least those archers if he only
Yeah.
kills one.
If only he had a Rift Forger in range to charge one of the... Anyway. Oh, sorry. I actually said goodbye, Ryan, but you actually were back. Sorry.
I got like 5 or 10 minutes. I don't have long. I'll probably wait till the end of this turn.
It's all quality stuff, though, Ryan. That's the important thing. It is all quality stuff. It's great to have you on.
Yeah, I'm glad I can make it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so he has stacked quite a few wounds onto the Cyclops that are not in cover, up at 13 with the lightning bolts, and now 12 on the other one.
Yeah.
No, it's on 10. 10. They just
On 10.
amalgamated the damage.
Squeaking
we
every
know-
time for both of them.
Do
It's
we
gone.
know who picked what side?
No.
Oh, no inspiring either.
But we
If
can
only
find
that
out from
inspiring
asking
individual
Keith.
would be running. So that's both of them gone.
Yeah.
If only you had inspiring individual.
Had been running and not hiding behind a rock.
And this
Alex,
is
you're rubbish.
this is what we were talking about, where we were saying, at least this is what I hope Elliot was talking about when he was saying, you pitch those individuals forward, you pitch some of the other utility units forward. If he takes the chance to shoot at them and not the spell ward units, then he didn't stick some of those early wounds on the spell ward units, and when they're in this position, they live.
And,
Right.
and you'd be in the exact same position you are now. Like, they weren't inspired anyway because the inspiring's hiding. So you've lost both.
But you save 1 to 2 maybe rounds of shooting on your core things,
Right.
because now he's in a position where it's just like he's huddled in a corner with his weak side, and his strong side is now just going to be Hell Strikers and a shrine. And
the
I
shrine
think he
needs
can
to sit on
take.
it.
No, they're going to get shot. The second they pop on the middle of that board,
Yeah.
The Hell Strikers are now target number 1 for that entire lightning bolt
and
battery.
all of the shooting is still there. Apart from one regiment of archers, that's all that's going to work.
And the Hell Strikers are not spell ward.
And
So-
I think we got Keith back. Hey, Keith.
Yeah, hey guys. That went remarkably well.
Well, you had
Yeah.
a crappy second turn of shooting.
Yeah, they-
You really did. Yeah.
They found their arrows. They were
found
like,
their arrows.
oh, we've been shooting the
Guys! We get on 4s now. What?
Wait,
What?
that way.
Hold on.
But yeah,
Let me just check. Let's just check my cock. Yeah, you're right.
Oh shit! Oh, we're supposed to string the bows first.
yeah, right. So that helped a lot because I needed to clear some of that shit out. But now he's going to be chasing my individuals, which is unpleasant.
No.
So at this point, are you still planning on trying to get the 4 on the left side?
I don't know if I'm going to have the. I don't know if I'm going to have the wherewithal to do it. It's really about. I might make a play with the mage on the Orclings on the bottom, especially when his Hellstriders kill the Dracon Riders and free them up to turn this way.
Mhm.
I'll probably just bail as best I can. Maybe try to shoot some Orclings if he exposes them, but he's going to force my mages to deal with his individuals, and I'm running out of unit strength a little bit. I'll admit it.
What's the plan for the left hand side then? With the units sort of finally
I
back.
mean, he's gonna. I think I can. Ultimately, if he comes in, I think I can win it. I'm a little nervous, obviously, about Losing both those units. I don't know if I'll lose both those units, but I certainly could. And then I'm fucked. So the plan is to see if he charges me this turn. Because if he does, then I'm certainly charging him. And then we'll see how it goes.
Who actually got to choose sides? We didn't actually remember.
I got to choose sides.
I thought it was the case.
So I don't know if it was the best choice, but it was a choice.
I think so. I think the way the objectives are set, if he has a bunch of Pathfinder units on the side of the board you're on, that's a hard line to crack.
Yes.
Oh, here he comes.
So is the Palace Guard Horde just touching the hill, is it?
Yeah, they can see. And I mean, he's touching the hill anyway now, so...
Oh, no, it's Alex. We're going to see this all go back. No.
Yeah. Don't count on any of this yet. It
That's
can
fair.
all go back.
I did waste like 15 minutes on that last turn, so I gotta get on my horse. No pun intended.
As though you seem all right. I
We'll
don't
see.
know. I've got any more questions. We got any more questions?
All right, guys.
All right. So good luck with the rest of the game. We'll see you back here when you guys are done.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, Keith.
Cheers, thank you.
All right, I gotta go, guys. It was fun.
All right. Thanks, Ryan.
Hey, everyone.
Take care.
Cheers, Ryan.
yeah.
I'll do it the second time round. Bye.
So the Rift Forger is now piled into the archers. Did it touch the? Is it hindered?
I believe it is touching the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's a little sketchy for him to actually stick a wound on them.
Yeah, it is.
Again, coming from a background of 3 attack heroes, like anything gets in the way, it gets
What's
sketched.
the shrine doing?
You can host Shadow Beast him easily.
Yeah.
Is that what the shrine's doing? Could
It's holding the objective on the hill, and I guess going to cast spells to try to buff the Rift
is that
Forger.
the plan? Yeah, because it's just facing the wrong way for anything else. That's all.
No, but
I
if
think
he
that's
hosts
a
Shadow
good
Beast,
plan.
if he hosts Shadow Beast the Rift Forger, he can then Bane chant the Hellstrikers.
That's
The
true.
Hellstriders.
But he's Bane chanting on 1 dice, right?
No, it'll be 2 because he's in within 6 inches of the other Rift Forger.
Yeah, he's now relevant.
Oh, the guy on foot. Yeah.
The guy on foot, yeah.
Get there.
So Alex has a
Only
bit of an
battery
opportunity here. If he gets rid of enough of the shooting, he can walk these Orclings forward to hold that hill token. And he can turn the shrine and walk it forward to get to the one kind of in the middle here.
Yeah.
And
I
have
think-
3.
I think there's a credible draw if he doesn't screw up the left-hand flank.
Yeah.
I think Keith to play though. He was talking about having the mage on the left center. No, back down one.
No.
No,
Go for the
left
Orclings.
again. This
That
one
one.
here. He
That
could
one.
snipe the other Orkling regiment, especially
Potentially send Nimu that way as well. Fight.
Nimue.
Nimue.
Nimue's already used her
Her fly,
flying ability.
yeah.
But she can still. It'll take her a 10 to get there, but
Yeah,
You-
I mean,
you
we're
can
still talking like this is still top of 4, isn't it? So there's still still 3 turns for the elves to get into a position.
Well,
Having
I
realised
think-
what individuals can do mid-game, having played Mike, I know the pain.
But look how nice these individuals are now. I can imagine if they'd have been there turn 2 or turn 1, that should have been lovely. You know, that next turn now, you've got individuals threatening all these mages and stopping all this nasty stuff. But it's just,
It is. I mean, I think that's. I mean, I'll come back to the fact that I don't think.
All right, here comes the
Alex
first host
is
Shadow
used-
Beast roll.
to using individuals in that kind of aggressive role.
that-
+4.
Is that +4? Yeah.
Yeah, it takes them up to 7.
He's
So
not
that is
rather
+4 on this guy.
Is
plus
he
4
rather on-
attacks.
Yeah, he does. Yes, he has rather on the own dice. Yeah.
So now he's a vampire for this one turn.
Yep. And then
Good for him.
enchant 1.
And that's, I think, what he was thinking to use.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's forgotten about doing the
Didn't
Bane
do the
chant on the
Bane
Hell
chant.
Striders. Oh,
It doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
They'll-
But
they'll
that's
still
not
pick
the
up.
point.
Look how nice that reform was. Look how good a position is in now.
No, but that's not the position you want to be in. You want to turn another 90 degree. Anyway.
No, because what he's going to do is he's going to charge the flank of those archers that won't die this turn. Then he's in an incredible position.
to look at some woods.
To score that objective and have no one who can come near it.
But he doesn't need to charge the archers. The archers can continue to fight the...
No, because the individual needs to be fighting
4 hits.
wizards.
I suppose the individual has a bit more flexibility.
It's 4 hits from the Rift Forger on the archers and 4 wounds.
Did he forget they're hindered?
No hits on 4s, then went up to 6s because of the Storm Strike.
It's Storm Strike. Because it's useless, isn't it?
I didn't say useless.
Use adjacent.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. Yeah, I mean, originally the Rift Forger could be used on the wizards. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is. I mean, I still like the turning maybe slightly more, just so that you had the option to maybe go 20 and land.
Yeah, because there was no reason not to. You could still see the flank and, as you say, just be able to land somewhere in the middle of the board.
He could actually, I mean, he could really overlook it and then say, right, if I land in a good position, I could actually hide behind the barricade so he protects himself against the Gladestalkers, but that might have taken a little bit more time and effort.
So what do we think of the Alex's choice on the left of effectively using Vodler as chaff?
Not good enough.
Because the alternative, of course, would have been to charge the Palace Guard Horde.
I'd have taken that.
If you do that, you leave the Cyclops unit behind him open to a charge from the Dracons, which is what he's trying to avoid.
But Vodler could possibly survive a Palace Guard Horde return. Because of what they
have defense 6, right?
No, only 5, but he's got nerve 16.
No, defense 6.
He's defense 6.
Is he defense 6?
You wrote it down wrong.
All right, I'll give up. See you later. Bye.
It's hard, this writing book, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's -15 defense 6.
Yeah.
When did it become defense 6? You changed that.
Defense 6.
No, he hasn't.
So
I'm gonna get the fucking thing up, right? Anyway, carry on.
Well, here's the thing about it is that neither of those units should be able to crack him in one.
Both of them definitely should.
But both of them should.
Yeah.
So I'm a little sad that he allowed both to charge.
That's somewhat.
Yeah, but
when he does have a 3 attack mounted individual in the back that he could have charged forward to ground the Dracons.
Ground the Dracons, stick them into the Palace Guard.
Yeah.
Do something.
Could have been doing literally anything.
I mean, that's sort of the thing here is that you have a -15 defense 6, and that one-on-one, its job is to fight things one-on-one and not die. And he put it in a position to get double charged.
You got to be careful not to overestimate that, though. Defense 6 is basically going to save you another 3 damage against the. So it's effectively a defense 5, fearless 18.
Yeah,
now, I wouldn't guarantee a Palace Guard Horde couldn't kill that.
No, you'd have been better off throwing out like a turn earlier, throwing out a fucking Rift Forger.
Yeah, I would have put the Rift Forger into the Dracons to ground them.
That would have been a much better idea.
Yeah.
Or threaten grounding. Yeah.
Or threaten grounding, or bait them into a charge, something like that.
If only
because
he knew how
because
to
now next turn he's going to be in a position where he's going to have to charge one or the other of those units with the Cyclops, probably the Dracons, and send the mounted Rift Forger into the front of the Palace Guard Horde to block them for a turn anyway.
But the Dracons will probably back up.
Right. And if the Palace Guard walks forward, then he can't get around them taking the Dracons.
You take the charge with the deep nerve pool, and you hold the Thunderous Skies in the back. It's that should be the no-brainer if he gets through this.
And then on the counter charge, when the Palace Guards slide down, then they're going to be in a good position to sit on 2 objectives.
Yeah. The other issue, of course, is that if he does survive, I don't think you can double charge either of them, because I don't think you can get in. So you're gonna have to split your attacks regardless.
Yeah.
Which isn't the end of the world actually, because if it's not a terrible decision for him to do it. It wasn't a good situation over there for him to start with. You could just really, really deal with him surviving. I don't think.
This would be the second funniest double one of the game. The first funniest was those Dracons in the corner.
Right.
Or this archer regiment whenever it gets Hellstriker.
Yeah, the flag.
But
All right.
so he has the full mage battery still up and running.
Yeah.
The question is, what does he do with it right now? Because it's about to get that band is about to get broken up by various individual charges.
I would be putting as much damage as I could on that Hellstriker horde, and just not worrying that you're about to start losing your mages. That's your last big threat now.
Is there
just scenario scoring?
Is there something to be said for focusing it all on a Rift Forger? Just picking them up?
I think it's the unit strength for me I would focus on.
Yeah. So I believe that was a Bane chant on the Dracons on the left that was just cast.
The Rift Forge is so important on the right hand side. Sorry, no, the Hellstrikers are so important because if they can take a token, plus also kill a unit, if they're still alive to kill that archer unit, those two Rift Forgers are just basically taking on two mages, aren't they?
Nice. Going after the shrine.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, but again, it's still unit strength. And it's same defensive profile as the...
The thing I like about shooting the Hellstrikers...
Oh, Jesus Christ. You look at that. Oh, man.
Well, if you roll
Don't take shooting, people. Just don't take shooting, all right?
Well, you got 10 hits. 2 damage. I suppose it's pretty about right.
Oof. Man.
The thing I like about hitting either of these targets, but especially the Hellstrikers, is it also starts to bring them down to Dracon Lord charge range. Yeah. Like you stick some wounds on them and suddenly that Dracon Lord flies in, picks him up, and turns to face whichever way it wants to.
So far, he's got the shrine up to 4. Here comes the last lightning bolt, I think.
Alchemist, I think.
Alchemist Curse, yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
God, it's piercing. Piercing 4.
Piercing 4. It's been terrible.
And the Fireheart.
Mm-hmm.
Not much better. Just one more wound.
Oh.
Up to 8.
So
that could be
twice.
So much better.
8 and is what, dash 17?
Yeah.
Yes.
So 9 twice because it inspires, yeah. And no.
Womp, womp, womp.
It's damaged. I mean,
it is damage.
Hellstrikers,
It is damage, sure. If he's got 2 mages that can shoot at it next turn, they might be able to pick it up.
I'm glad it's Darkers, and it's at that damage level now for a 17 nerve unit where actually any more damage is a bit nervous.
Yep.
22 hits on 25 attacks.
Yeah. That's going to happen.
8 damage.
Oh, that's good.
So,
sure, it's defense 6, and here comes the Dracons, who were Bane chanted.
So this is where the
3's 9 damage. Yeah.
And they do 9. Okay.
So as you say, so 8 damage there.
That's a 3.
8 plus 9, 17. He's still
Bane chanted, yeah. So
still.
So if he had charged, miracle of hindsight, he would have survived the counter charge from the Palace Guard.
Yep.
If only you had a Rift Forger who was able to stop one of those units.
If only.
Wait, what are you doing?
Oh, what are you doing?
Why are
What's his aim? Is he trying to get out of that?
He's basically trying to get tokens, isn't he? Because he's probably looking and going, I'm going to get charged in the Draken. The Draken Riders are going to basically take the brunt of both units, aren't they?
Send them forward.
Yeah, send them forward.
And then it stops the double charge,
Yeah.
Is there a point far enough where he can get into a flank where he's going to be flanked?
It's a good point.
I know it would be a weird wraparound angle, but
he might have been checking to see if he could possibly accidentally sidestep into a flank if he rolled too high.
I think if he rolls a 3, he'll actually get out of arc as well.
Oh goodness, why are you even checking that? Don't do that.
While he's messing about, I mean, how we liked the elf changes. We've talked about the archers, haven't we?
I like.
Well, let's talk about the so
Yeah,
far.
but you're
elf-
RCL, yeah. Come on, right? You're out of this conversation. You like everything.
And was also on the working group for the elves that wrote these.
So MVP so far, I think, for the elves has been those Gladestalkers.
Yeah.
They've done exactly what a Gladestalker regiment wants to do, and you should never let them do, which is they moved into cover in the middle of the board and have not been threatened all game, and have just been free firing. And when something does try and get close enough to them, they can say, "Oh yeah, we're also a combat unit." So they've been incredibly, damaging so far this game, and they've had threat projection. If any of those Thunderseers had tried to turn left and cross the board, they could just charge out and smack them. So I think they've been great.
I really, really dislike what he's done here.
Yeah.
Because he's
So-
always giving a flank to the
If-
Draken Riders, isn't he?
Yeah, and all you have to do is turn your Rift Forger so that it's in the front of the Dracons, and you can prevent the flank charge.
Yeah.
Or
And
you
if
could
you
even
go and
put
kill
in
the
the
Palace Guard
front.
and overrun.
Yeah.
You're out of
And
arc.
be out if you get lucky.
Basically, the worst thing you could have done with the Dracons.
Is he going to be able to? He can't kill the Palace Guard in the front, can he?
It's got brush sharpness. Very, very unlikely.
It's 22,
So it's
24 nerve. I mean,
30
Jesus
attacks
Christ.
on 30 attacks on threes, right? With crush one,
Yeah,
Crush
threes
He
and
can
threes.
do it.
threes and
threes and threes.
What's that?
20 hits and
14 damage.
yeah, it's very unlikely, but it's. Are they inspired? No, so they're not.
no,
they're not inspired.
No, so you don't need it once, but it'd be like a 10 once.
You've only got to spike it a little bit over.
I don't love that they're not
Yeah.
inspired.
But anyway, you can still block the Dracons with the individual.
What? Because he's in the flank.
Yeah,
Isn't in the front? So well, he's on the line basis, so he can pivot to being either.
so he can pivot into the front. Yeah,
But if he's in the front, they just back off and then charge, don't they? I suppose they can't fit.
You won't
because
fit,
of-
would you? Yeah, 'cause you don't make way.
yeah.
no.
I mean, you could choose not to countercharge with the Palace Guard, which is what you'd probably do.
All right, so that brings us to the top of 5. What are we thinking at this point? Keith is
Closer than I thought it was going to be.
currently sitting on 2 tokens. Alex is currently sitting on 1, but could easily walk some Orklings onto a second
So I feel
to get
like
shot.
What's the line of sight on those Hellstrike Riders? Are they actually able to see the wizards?
why is he doing that?
No, but
So
wait,
he's-
look at
he's
this.
changed
Yeah,
the individual into the archers. Oh,
No, but look.
he's going for wizards. I see.
Because if you can see the wizards, just fuck them up.
Yeah, and then chain it together and
You just hit 2 of them.
You might get lucky to hit 2 of them, but I mean,
Well.
if you can hit 1, you'll kill it, and the actual Rift Forger will, as long as he calls out points of damage on the archers, great.
can I just say this is why you don't back your Dracon Horde up. That reform is now giving him perfect view over this whole field of.
Well, you
things
also
he wants to kill.
needed to get your wizards out of arc / out of chained, like.
It's
Don't-
just not just the best bit about Kings of War, though, is
Don't
that
literally
the,
line up all your wizards.
The minute you take your eye off the ball,
Yeah.
the minute you turn around and go, "Oh, I've got it," the minute you feel comfortable, like Kings of War will fuck you up. It will just go around and go.
So is he not doing it? I'm confused.
No, he's going to do it. He's just moving everything else first.
He can't move the shrine first because the shrine will
Yeah.
block him from line of sight. But it doesn't make a
matter
big
so
difference
much,
in this issue. But yeah.
Sure. And so now he can cast Host Shadow Beast on that mounted guy again, and then try Bane Chant on the Hell Riders.
Giving orcs access to essentially Draken Riders, is that good or bad?
Good. I'm an orc player.
I mean, Mantic
Take the
told us
bias
the
out of this, right?
model. Mantic gave us the model and said make some rules for it.
Okay. So he's definitely going in on the Palace Lord.
I mean,
Palace
I think when you look at the options in the Rift Forged Orc list, I think you can build a sort of traditional orc list, but with a much, much stronger punch and a much stronger speed element. And I think that's a lot of fun. There's this sort of traditional orc list where you take 2 to 3 giant hordes of something.
Right.
I compare it to sort of a carrier battle group. You have these massive, dangerous things that are also unmaneuverable and hard to defend themselves. But if they hit something, they destroy it. And then you take a bunch of other stuff to protect them. And I think the Rift Forged Orc list has a whole bunch of really interesting options for those protection pieces. Around Hellstrikers, Hellstriker regiments instead of hordes are super good as well. The Rift Walkers are super interesting and good. The cheap characters, like you have all of these different units buzzing around with different threat ranges and different damage profiles that I think makes for a really, really interesting, punchy list that is different than what the rest of Kings has. So, like, kudos to the rules committee. It looks like a really fun list to build and can be built 2 or 3 different ways and still be competitive.
I mean, that's one of the things I really like about the Rift Forged Orcs and Halflings, actually, and a lot of both new armies, is there is 4 or 5 units not in this list that I'm thinking, why on earth didn't you bring that? And obviously, because you can't fit everything in.
Right.
But there's, as you say, there's so many different ways of building Rift Forged Orcs that I think are all very, very viable. You mentioned earlier that the Rift Forged Orcs don't have heal and drain life and don't have the drum, and that was very much on purpose. So when we saw that they were going to be getting access to, I think, effectively Dracons, and there was basically going to have to be quite a bit of lightning bolt in the list because they are storm forged. Because we knew they were going to get those quite meta things, we said, well, what we don't want them to then have is that plus heal, rally, and all these other mechanics. So I do like that they have Dracon equivalents, but it did dictate some of the other things that they then weren't allowed to have. Because otherwise you can't have an army that has everything and has all the tools.
Unless you're undead.
Unless you're dead.
Ooh. I have to agree with that. I mean, I only asked about the Hellstrikers, but I do think there is a lot of options available for Rift Forged Orcs, so you don't get in a normal orc list, but it's not going too far. I mean, he's missed out possibly 2 of the best units in the Rift Forged Orc army here, for me, which are hordes of Rift Forged Orcs, because Defense 5, Crush 1, hitting on a 3, you're going, how many of those can I take? I'll just fill my army with those, that'd be fine. And he's missed out the Amber Oxes. The Amber Oxes are one of the crazy good units that they've managed to throw into Orcs, where you're going, so I can now take actually a hero option and a secondary option that I really want to take. Yeah. I really want to take the Stormbringers. And the Stormbringers are another really good unit. It's just the Amber Oxes are really
I think the Stormbringer is one of the few combat individuals I look at and think, ooh, I really want to take that.
It's not just for the rules, but the actual miniature is amazing. I mean, out of every single Mantic model that they've ever made, the Stormbringer is the nicest model. I mean,
is that the one on Manticore, you mean? The mounted one?
Yes. And I think I've actually said the wrong one. What is the one that's actually a troll? Stormcaller.
The Storm Slayer. The
Storm
monster
Slayer.
One. That's
Storm
very nice,
Slayer.
yeah. That's one of my favourite units in the list. I think you could take 2 or 3 of those in a list and do very well.
Okay, so Alex has actually changed his mind over there on the left and has said both units in the Palace Guard Horde.
I don't hate it. It does mean that the individual's hindered, I believe.
And host Shadow Beast this time only got 2 additional.
He's basically going all in for breaking that Palace Guard Horde in one go.
You could argue the one on the left, he doesn't get hindered. Snake Eyes. On the one on the left, he doesn't get hindered if he goes with the Rift Forger first, but I don't think that's his final position.
So it wouldn't have mattered.
Who, the Rift Forger?
No, he's saying the Rift Forger on the left.
Yeah.
If he charged with it first, on the left-hand side of the battlefield, if he charged with it first, it would be unhindered.
If he actually...
there he's got Nimue. What's the roll to get to him into the... No, not click him. He's going to get it as well.
4. Yeah, he'll make it.
That's a swing, isn't it? That's a big...
That is a massive swing.
Yeah.
Keith gave him those.
Yeah.
I mean, just
It was nice of him.
don't line up your individuals so they can just get bold.
Don't back up your Drakon Horde to allow him to do that.
Double whammy.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's
Right.
That is huge.
That is painful.
Yeah,
It's
that
not
takes
rough.
a lot of shooting off the
It is
table.
huge.
well, it's not just that. It's you have undamaged Hell Strikers, and this is why I was hoping he would shoot them and not the shrine.
Because if they were 8 damage now, like the Shrine is,
they would be
Sure.
they'd be killable.
yeah, you'd be a lot
He
less
wouldn't,
nervous.
he wouldn't have been able to Alchemist Curse them, but yet at the same time, they would have been on some damage. Plus, also, if he'd have just positioned his wizards an extra 2 or 3 inches lower, and he still achieved what he needed to achieve in that turn.
So that's 21 hits on the
21
Palace Guard Horde.
Oh, 18 damage! Oh, bloody hell!
Oh, and all hits,
And all
including
3
2
hits.
Storm Strikes.
But also, that's 2 Storm Strikes, so that's
Yeah.
5 hits.
1 more damage.
For
22 damage.
Oh,
All right.
man!
Like
and Snake Eyes.
No! That's only fair.
no.
That is only fair. Oh man!
Oh shit!
But that, I love that combat. That's the best thing about King's War, isn't it? Going, yeah, oh no!
that is a proper like football ground, like empty goal. Oh, he
And
missed it.
Bumble, no! Why did you drop the ball? Yeah.
I appreciate that you went for football because that's how us and every other part in the world actually see it. But it's the same way as like you've got like the quarterback and he just literally throws the ball. You can see him, the receiver's just there, and he goes, oh, and crosses both arms and drops the ball. That is,
But that's rough. Are they devastated? Not that
no.
it's gonna.
22,
No, they were on snakes, I think. Because they're 22-24.
Yeah.
It's rough, but you shouldn't have done 22 damage.
True.
You
True.
should have done 10.
yeah. Well, no, you should have done about 16 and possibly
Yeah.
done the waiver. Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love the games, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's-
But now because of those wizards being dead, he's throwing the Dracon Lord into the front of them just to slow down that pain party.
Which is scoring. It's like more unit strength.
I know you're tossing away your limited unit strength.
Yeah.
Sure.
So what
He's
we
got
are
it.
now? Is this bottom of 5?
This is bottom 5.
Yeah, so the Dracons can potentially do a reform to a point where they can grab a token. Well, they can do a reform. He's still... Alex is still going to have trouble grabbing objectives. And
Yeah, more than. I'm not sure how he's going to end up with more than 3.
I think it's probably going to be a draw at this stage.
Yeah. So I wasn't going to say anything, but you guys did say that undead have all the tools. And
It's not quite the case anymore. They don't have Dracons.
Sorry, undead. What one thing in the game don't you have?
Dracons?
So here's what I'm going to complain about. This update was pitched numerous times as a no nerf cop, and I feel
Mantic should have never said that.
should have never said that. I feel like a bait and switch has been pulled. I feel like my army has in fact been nerfed. You change the Shroud of the Saint so that instead of giving 3 additional dice to someone that already has heal, it only gives 2. And now my Lich King has lost 1 heal, and that is a nerf. And that was that 1 heal, that 1 extra heal was the linchpin of my whole army. The whole strategy is out the window now. I'm going to have to start a whole new army just because of this update, and I'm really upset about it. So I think Mantic should probably send me some free models. I'm thinking about starting Horde of the Green Lady. So anything they've got lined up for that, I feel like I'm owed some compensation.
I think everyone's probably going to be starting Order of the Green Lady.
Here comes the bandwagon. Everybody jump on.
The joke someone made in the -28 chat is they are now using a hairdryer to melt their ice elementals into water elementals.
Into water elementals.
Because that is the new power unit.
Yep. Got some...
what I wanted to quickly say about...
Got some lovely Wrath of Kings models that I bought a long time ago when I actually played that game, when they still made it, that I have not yet put together. And I'm thinking I might just turn these guys into water elementals, just paint them blue. Do that.
So I did want to say about the Stormbringer model on Manticore. Something I do really like at the moment that Mantic has been doing is all of these, because it's sort of a model agnostic game. They say like takes a mount, and in a lot of other games that's a horse. But for Mantic, they're actually, as they've been coming out with these characters, mounted characters on mounts, the mounts have all been actually really cool and different.
Yeah. It's just a horse.
You know,
the mounted sorcerer is pretty cool.
What I will say to everybody is go out and buy the mounted units. Because producing a mounted model is very expensive for Mantic because it's twice the cost to make the model, but they can't charge twice the price for it because people aren't used to paying twice the price just because it's mounted. Which is why you don't see many cavalry units from Mantic until quite recently when we complained endlessly that a lot of units need a mount option. Look at Northern Alliance who couldn't find a horse for love or money. So go out and buy them. So Mantic will keep making more.
I'd say this is it's a hole in the miniature market as a whole for having characters who are mounted. I mean, we forget the old Warhammer days where you had mounted characters, but what they ended up being was a plastic horse that was a generic plastic horse, and you put a character on top of it. There was very little, like for example, with the Stormbringer, isn't it? When they put the Manticore on there, who was actually dynamic,
Yeah, I ran into that problem when I wanted to field the sort of like 3 mounted crushers, 3 mounted crudgers type of thing. And you're like, great, now let me just find mounted orc characters in the world marketplace. And it was like, there's one if you don't want it to be a savage orc.
and that's why, from what I've learned, is that obviously the tooling, all the cost in making the model is the tooling originally.
Yeah.
And obviously a mount is twice the size of the rider on it and is nothing like as interesting. So your costs are actually 2 to 3 times higher than it is just to make a guy on foot. But you're never going to charge 2 to 3 times the price for it because we all have in our mind how much a miniature costs.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad they have started doing them. They started doing them. The Goblin mount characters are really nice as well.
Right, he's shooting at the shrine. The lightning bolt from the wizard at the bottom kind of whiffed. Shooting at the shrine.
Keeping the theme going.
Well, that's not bad. 5 damage on 5s on like 7 dice.
Finally, his spike to damage roll.
Yeah, finally, he has been rolling.
And it's the Glade Stalkers again.
Yeah, MVP.
Paying off.
MVP.
Yeah, good unit.
So it's a 13, and it's a what? 15.
It's a fearless 17.
Fearless 17. Okay.
So all you need is
So,
a 3.
one more.
Yeah, 4
lightning
points.
bolt. So this is lightning bolt with the
with the last wizard.
One more damage.
wound. 14, huh?
Oh, he got blasé about it, but yeah, he did it. Yeah.
Just barely, but did pick it up.
It's only there was an inspiring model. Oh, there is. Oh, yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
He's got there in the end.
Oh, only 3 hits.
What are we talking about here?
Only
What's this?
2 wounds, but he rolled a 12. Do they waver? The Hell Riders waver. They do. That is an auto
with
waiver.
the shrine dying. Yeah.
Because there's no Fury Aura anymore, right? That was on the shrine.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So boxcars paying off big time there.
I mean, I'm gonna say that the double 1 was funny. That double 6 was just mean.
Oof.
That's just That one hurts. That hurts me a little.
Yeah, dagger in the eye. Yeah, that one.
Now the double 1 on these Thunder Seers is going to be even funnier.
It's going to be hilarious, right?
Yeah, that's done.
Nothing against Spires yet, so it picks them up.
Gosh. Well, we are the bottom of 5. So, token wise, it's fucking close, isn't it? It really
Was that
is
wavered?
close.
He did. He rolled boxcars.
Ooh.
Yeah,
He rolled boxcars and wavered them.
That's just mean.
It is mean. Will
It's
it
fair
matter?
though, considering his shooting all game. That is actually fair.
It's not fair.
It's not fair because he double
What
won
do you
the
mean
half.
it's not fair? I mean, he should have been in a better position than he is now. But he, yeah.
He did it to himself. He backed that Draken harder.
Is that all you're going to play to him and just go? You did one thing wrong, and everything else.
That I'm still not sure is like strictly wrong.
It's all you're going to talk about post game, I'm sure. Keith,
It's all that he's going to hold on to. Yeah.
But the lining up the mages so that they could just be, candlepin bold right over.
Yeah,
that is a double wrong. Yeah.
Hellstriker's just chewing on him.
And then taking a smoke break with the Drakon Lord.
Because with second turn, he has
He's
that
only
ability.
done. He's not killed him, I think. No, he has.
11 is wavered.
7.
The hell?
He's 10-12, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 10-12.
He's 10-12.
So 11 is wavered.
Right.
Wow.
Not that
All right.
that makes
Isn't
a
that
huge
scary,
difference. No. Because the shrine is.
It does make a difference, though, because he possibly can't now get the Drakons.
Have a look
To
with the
score?
Drakons. Can you click on the Drakons, Mike? See if they're going to be able to dance over. No,
In fact,
they're
why
not.
did the Drakons reform?
Because he did the combats in the wrong order.
Can he go down to the bottom? No, he can't get down. No, he can. He can't. No, he's not going to get within 3 inches of the bottom token. No.
That's probably may have just lost him the game. Drakons needed to reform to grab the middle token, left middle token.
Right.
So
and
the
that
moment
was
is
that was the archers up here in the top right, punching back at the Rift Forger. I think with those last couple of rolls, put 2 wounds on him, didn't do anything good.
Can the wizard next to the Glade Stalkers affect the Orklings that are going to possibly run up to the hill? No,
on the bottom,
they can't.
Yeah, on the bottom of the turn, I don't know.
If there's a 7.
If
there's a 7.
There's a combat individual who might have something to say about that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do now? Would you throw the Inspiring Rift Forger into the archers? And is there a range on the Rift Forger mounted into the Glade Stalkers?
No.
No. Even with a twist? No, it's not going to happen.
No.
So I don't see any reason not to do that. To send the individual into the Drakon.
No, I would actually switch it. So I'd actually go for the Inspiring Rift Forgers into the Glade Stalkers, and then put the other Rift Forger into the Drakon.
Do you want your health strikers to be inspired just in case?
Could he make it? He's on foot. He only goes 10, right?
Yeah, because he was in kind of next to the barricade. But if he kills them and he backs off, what are they? 13, 15 nerve, aren't they now? Or is it 14, 16? Yeah.
Hey Ryan, welcome back.
Risky
What's
business. You're right.
Whatever it is, you have to ground that Dracon. And
You do have to ground the Dracon, and I think you're right. Is if you don't.
Oh yeah, if you don't,
that's
that's a token swing, isn't it? If it doesn't.
Because what the Orklings are only height 1 though, so they cannot be hit by the Drakon Rider.
You're right, and I don't think he's realised that because he's now playing around to see if he can get in range and stay out of charge range.
He has to just get he has to be in range of the token. He is,
He is within 3.
Oh, he's wanting to stay in cover, isn't he?
Yeah.
From what? What is
Just
he
in
not
case.
Oh, the archers at the top.
This guy, this archmage right here.
Oh, fucking hell, I didn't even see him.
And possibly the archers. If the...
special agent Archmage sneaking around in the backfield. Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the thing.
Is the winner who just lightning bolt comes and he rolls like 5 dice and gets 5 6s to hit. You know,
he's done another damage to and he's taken off the archer regiment.
Yeah.
Fucking else as well. Yeah.
God, if only he could have been doing that 2 turns earlier.
Right, because he's the only thing that's charged those archers, right? So it's just been him getting shadow beasted.
Oh no! He's failed to damage the. It doesn't make a huge difference on. No, it does.
No, it does. It makes a massive difference.
It does because you can dance over and contest.
Yeah.
He's gone from back to a draw.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that Dracon
No,
Lord is now MVP.
Dragon Lord could win the game if he can take those Hell Riders off. That's the big difference with the shooting.
Well, I mean,
it doesn't need to. He just needs a chance. If he charges and kills the Orklings, he wins. If he charges
He
and
can't-
doesn't
he
kill
can't
them,
see
he
the
draws.
Orklings.
Charge
Yeah.
Oh, I can't see them. Sorry, you're right. Yeah,
But he can just fly over there and take the token.
contest it. Yeah.
Yeah, away.
No,
take,
don't do
to
that.
take the
Don't
points
do
away.
that with the no. Put the Gladestalkers back. Put them back. Put them back.
Well,
But now,
he's now
Put
holding
them
that.
back.
So unit in 3.
yeah, he's now got this token though, because he's got more unit strength here.
But
Oh no,
if
he
there's
just
a-
got
no,
it.
he doesn't because the Dragon Lord's not in range.
He's
if
not.
there's a 7,
Don't do the thing. What are you doing?
don't the Hellstrikers just flank them and
Yeah, or just charge the mage.
Don't do it. Do it.
Oh yeah, they're tied. Yeah, the Gladestalkers are 3, and so is the Hellstrikers.
Why?
So if
Why?
I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, because once they
How does
Once
he
they-
achieve in win in turn 6? How does he achieve a win in turn 6? If he can kill the Hell Strikers, he gets that one with the no, but that's still only 2. That's still only 2 versus 2, isn't it? Because he just
So I
can't.
don't because he didn't
He's-
reform the Dracons in
the Dracons. Yeah.
on the left. I don't think he can now win in turn 6.
Yeah, he's just working it out.
Yeah,
Wait, can't he pivot
Get to
and
this
just
one.
fly 10 to that one?
Yeah.
I don't think he's 14 away from him at the minute.
Yeah, because don't forget the turn will reduce his distance.
Yeah, pulls him
Oh,
back
come
a
on.
bit inches.
What he needed to do was do that reform after the last combat when he killed the
Why
We'll see
didn't he?
and he didn't.
Because he's playing Rift Forged Orcs, and obviously they foresaw this before
Yeah.
anything actually
That was it.
began the game.
They,
And
they purposely double won the unit so that they could.
They just- what they
Yeah,
did
I
was
sort of
cause a bad
influence,
response.
influence Alex to get to this point.
One
Yeah.
in a over a
You've all
million.
watched June by now, right? You know, by June, as long as you follow a certain path, certain things will happen, right?
If-
you know?
If I was Keith, it would have, and this was a real table, I would be bending down to those Thunder Seers and being like, "See that? Did you? Did you see that double one?
Dickheads.
that show up in your
Yeah.
visions?"
Can he do it? No, he can't do it. Oh,
No, can't get them back onto either. Oh man.
This is where you want to just like phone call Keith and just go. So Keith, turn 6. How's it going? Ooh, really?
Sideline reporter comes up and the coach just tells them to go away at this point.
Right.
Yeah. This is bottom of 6 as well, right? This is bottom
This
of 6.
is
not top
this
of
is.
Top.
Is it? Did
Top
I miss a turn?
No, because
okay.
Alex went first, didn't he?
You're right. I went first. I missed a turn flip. Thank you.
I was confused for a second. Now, now.
What the fuck are these like palace? Look at these like they're just going.
so he's
just
he's
wishful
seeing what will
thinking.
happen after he.
No, but he can actually reform on top of an individual because an individual doesn't count unless you're charging. You can completely ignore the bastard.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he- but-
that's
but-
a complete move.
Yeah, he doesn't fly, so he can't end any part of
Yeah,
the pivot.
He can
over it.
end a part of the pivot on top if he's an individual and he's yielding.
Can't end it on him, can you? Got to
Yeah, you can end on him.
I don't think
Read
so.
the rules. Read the rules, Elliot. Right? Go and take that rule book and read it.
Anyway, it doesn't matter because he can't get to it regardless.
No, he can't. He can't get right through. But
Right.
he has done well to
So he has taken the Gladestalkers back, by the way. So we can.
cheating bastard.
We don't have to panic too much about that. So I think
So-
what you can do is fly the Dracon Lord over to contest and shoot everything you've got into the Hellstrikers. Try and break
Yep.
it written off.
Yeah.
That then gets you a draw, which is the best you can hope for in turn 6. And then a 7 guarantees him a win, effectively.
Well, what are if the Hellstrikers aren't dead, which is a very
wins.
possible, like they get to go do something terrible to someone, right?
They take Gladestalkers out, but then the Dracon Lord probably takes out the Orklings,
No.
and the Dracon Horde at the bottom gets an uncontested point.
Well,
Yeah.
no, hold on though. If the Dracon Lord flies to the hill and contests that token, and they shoot the Hellstalkers to death, then it's 2-1, and Keith wins. It's
No,
not
I'm
a draw.
I'm saying they don't kill the Hellstrikers.
Sure, if they don't kill the Hellstrikers, it's
Oh,
a
sorry,
draw.
yeah. If he contests it, if he goes and contests it and shoots the Hellstrikers off, then yeah, he wins.
Yeah,
Oh, here we go.
which is a
do
big
that.
ask.
But he isn't doing that.
No, he's going for if the wizard kills the Orclings, big switch.
But it
And
won't
it's
matter.
still a draw.
2 hits, 1 damage. He's got to get an 11 to kill him.
Oh my god!
Fuck you.
What the hell?
Fuck
Okay,
you
so it's now
in
2
the
all.
eyeball, right?
So still a draw. He's now relying on the Drakon Lord to kill the inspired Hellstrikers.
I mean, literally, just.
I mean, he could have guaranteed the draw, so that's not the end of the world.
I feel like this is that lesson we always forget about Kings of War, which is just roll really good nerve.
Roll really high dice and then
Roll really high nerve, and the
if
rest
you're
of it
playing
doesn't
John,
matter.
just roll really well at everything.
Yeah,
Don't just limit yourself to nerve. Just roll really well with all of your dice.
Takes off the Rift Forged.
You're all dead.
And then he reforms.
Take goblins. You're good. Turn 7 is going to be a guaranteed Keith win then. So essentially, after he cheated and rolled an 11.
So it was the double 6 on the Hellstrikers was the cheat.
Yes. No, that's a double whammy.
So the Drakon Lord
Unless you just go.
So Drakon Lord hit with all of its
that
damage.
is 5 hits, yeah, and
all of it.
5 damage. Yeah.
and 5 wounds. That puts him at 7, and
Oh,
that's a 9.
wait,
That's 16.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's okay. It doesn't matter, does it? 'Cause it's-
And the turn
Keith's-
7
Keith's
roll.
like 3 or 4 turns of like bad shooting has just come round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here
Here comes the roll for turn 7.
Oh.
And there is a 7.
Poor
I mean,
old Ali.
To be honest, at turn 3, I would have given it 80-90% chance of keeping.
He's just like, do I have to? Can we stop? That's
Stop hurting me. I didn't
That's all
deserve it.
I don't want another one. There's an
So
understatement.
now the Drakon.
Right.
kills it.
This comes big in terms of how it works in terms of blackjack. Because blackjack, you have to have 3 to 4 more VPs to start to get to the +1.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree, Adam.
You should do right.
But like
So-
he's gonna kill the my brain's not working.
Hellstrikers?
Yeah, and he can get that token, right? Or is he not in range of it?
He's not in range.
Okay, yeah.
And now with characters on the side, he can't sidestep
Oh,
up.
look at that! Look at that!
Oh!
Look
those
at
are
the
6s,
storm
so they
strike
explode.
coming in.
6 damage.
I know. As soon
And
as
an
I
11.
made
Oh.
as soon as I made a case against Storm Strike on air, that was a guarantee for Alex to roll all 6s the rest
go
of the game.
Fucking nuts. Just
Yeah,
roll
that
6s
was
left and
the
right.
cheating.
I know.
See, this is if he's clever with the Palace Guard, he's going to get 2 tokens of the Palace Guard. You're going to get 1 with those
Let's see if he's
Dragon
done it.
Riders.
And he does.
I
He
was
gets
gonna
both.
say for Blackjack, actually, that it was still a mistake not to. Well, I guess no, because he might not have wavered him with all the shooting.
Well, yes, he still ends up with getting. Well,
Kill
actually, no, he's only
difference.
got +3. He's got to kill
+2.
those Drakon Riders to actually make this worthwhile.
Yeah.
So if he kills the Drakon Riders, and is it the actual Drakon? Sorry, the
Oh, the Hell Strikers.
Strikers. Is the Drakon Rider Lord within 3 of that token?
No, it's
He is not.
Could
So
he
he's
just
bet-
pivot and move though?
No, he can't
Without
because
He's
the
got
individuals. So he's got to hit the individuals and hope he overruns.
I see now.
Bane Chant on the Drake Lord. Okay, he's Bane Chanted. Oh, here comes a sneaky lightning bolt on these Orclings, I think.
Yep.
Oh.
Fucking
Oh.
4 damage. If he rolls an 8, he's a dick. Right? Fucking
You didn't
dick.
roll an 8.
Absolute dick.
He didn't roll an 8 though. He rolled a 9.
He did not roll an 8.
That's all right. He's a perfectly legitimate person that we can
Hashtag-
respect for no real reason.
Hashtag elf things.
Well, if those individuals had
Hashtag
been moved
elf
sooner,
bullshit.
they could have killed those wizards by now.
Oh, has he killed those as well?
Yeah.
He gets a reroll. He gets a reroll, surely.
No, yeah, he should have a reroll.
He should have a reroll. Cheating elf.
Because the only inspiring thing on the table is standing right here.
Yep.
For the orcs.
You cheated.
So that's
I think
going to
Alex
be
might just assuming he'd just roll a 12 on the reroll anyways.
right. So that's going to be 4-0 to Keith. Looks like for blackjack
5.
purposes.
Oh, 5 if he overruns. Can he
That-
overrun? Because he
That went
overruns and he
so
gets in
badly.
range.
Yeah, the overrun would. Well, he hasn't realised it.
I think they're just frozen. I think Alex is dealing with a dog.
Could be.
Oh, they're probably totting up scores, aren't they? I'm looking at it.
It could be. Or...
Yeah, because the overrun actually will probably bring him into 3.
I think Alex is dealing with writing out the final lines of his suicide note.
It's the emotional trauma.
No, but Alex entered this game on the basis that he has taken a crazy list,
But it
I'll
wasn't
be honest,
that
It
crazy.
wasn't. No, it
it
wasn't.
wasn't
at all.
that crazy.
And that's the thing, what's
There
gonna
was
sort of-
40 points of gimmick in this list, and that's it.
I'm only like quantifying how Alex is feeling. I don't necessarily think he's feeling the right way, but I'm quantifying how he should feel. You know.
Well,
should
and that's
tell
the
him how
thing.
you
This isn't like a wacky list that was going to lose all along and then hit bad dice. Like, hi, Alex.
Hi.
I'm
So
happy to see your head and not just your feet swinging back and forth.
Yeah.
I mean, it was close in the end, sort of.
If
And
you
then
did
Keith-
not have that turn 7 was big in terms of turning that from a
Well,
draw
the
into
double
a win.
1 followed by a double 6 followed by turn 7. I'm just like, and then a couple of 9, 11s and 10s on nerve rolls. I can't really do anything against that.
All he did is just punch you in the dick from the last 2 turns. He just went, "Hey, how you doing?"
He saw
Does
me
that
trip
feel that?
and then just
Have that
kept
again.
kicking. Yeah.
Well, and
No,
right after I fucked up leaving those 2 mages out to get
Yeah.
swallowed.
If I'm
And that
honest,
double
Keith,
one.
unfortunately, you didn't deserve it as much as you got it.
I agree. I didn't deserve it.
And that was it. That double 1 was for Nick Williams. That was an
Rolling it out.
actual
All-
double
all-
1. I had 22. Trying not to swear for you, Mike.
I don't care.
Do it.
We're not
Oh, man.
monetized. We don't have enough subscribers to actually get money,
Alright,
so
so
I don't care.
I mean, we
that
have
was-
been.
Are we not swearing? Because
That was fucking bullshit.
Elf bullshit, right? Elf bullshit, as it always comes out.
I'm like, it's funny because you got me on turn 1 and 3, which is like anyone who plays me in real life on like a Friday night knows like I hit like a turn 2, 3 morose phase. So you got me right when I'm in the middle of like hating life, and then turns 3 or 4. That's what turn 4 or 5. That's when things start coming together usually and they were sort of.
They were.
Ugh. Yeah.
See, that's what happens when you don't take a several phase list. Is your morose phase just gets pushed back to turn 4 or 5? That's all that happens, right?
Yep.
You go, well, I don't actually roll any dice in turn 1 or 2. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
No, that was an emotional roller coaster.
I think for everybody, yeah. Like we were enjoying watching the twists and turns from here. Certainly.
Yeah, it was nutty. Sorry about the breaks now, but all we got
Yeah, they've got
dogs and furniture.
an ill dog in the house today, so it's a bit of a extra.
Look, if you didn't
overhead.
mention it, we could be seamless. We just filled so well, right? We made it look like they're not doing with real life
to be honest,
society.
you guys carrying
yeah.
on with the game was quite an inconvenience to us.
I mean, there's at least
And
2
we
quality
don't mean to
commentators.
interrupt your shit talking.
So, what did the 2 of you think of the changes to your list then? Or of the
Yeah,
brand new
Alex
list?
first, because he's got to deal with the changes to his list. Go on.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
So the changes to Rift Forged Orcs were all positive. Great job, RC.
Going from not existing to existing is a big positive
Yeah.
step for them.
No, I will say
Don't-
this.
Don't give him a hitch up here, right, Alex? Come on. So just explain to us what the changes would be.
But for a first, I guess this is my first game with Rift Forged Orcs, and I think I still like Thunderseers on paper, and I just I had an alternate that had some shooting, which I probably would like to work into the list. I think
Don't backtrack. Just
But
what
I think-
happens with the list? Come on.
it's a good list. It almost beat Keith.
which is not hard. Let's be real.
Perennial second and third place finisher, Keith. Is
Right.
Reigning
Right.
countercharger of the USA.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
So Keith, Elves, what do you think now?
I mean, I think they're still good. I still like the general theory in the list. It's probably a little light on unit strength. Not going first is always a problem. Having faced an army with all Pathfinder on top of Defense 5 was kind of a pain. But I think that's pretty standard. First time I faced Spell Ward, which is annoying. As it's meant to be, I'm sure. But I think the concept still works. I tried to give it away, but the dice gave it back to me. So I don't know if that really speaks to the list rather than
just line up your wizards. All you need to do, right?
like all 5 of them, 1 inch apart. Just line them up.
That was the one roll that I got.
Just back up the Dracons, so after the counter charge, you can turn and have a perfect conga line.
That was late afternoon Friday. What are you gonna do?
You're gonna listen to that Elliot just basically go on about the fact that backing up the Dracons was not the best option. Right? I'll be honest.
When you were
it was
on the right,
perfectly fine.
It wasn't
right?
fine.
It was perfectly
I
fine.
see what you're saying.
But what ends up happening is if you go,
you're going to die, but it's okay because the Hellstrikers are going to be stuck behind the house.
I
actually said that, and then you backed up. No.
and then what you went is basically, if you just line up the wizards like this now, you can overrun on them, right? It'll be perfect.
So you give them the perfect.
Trying to give it back. I'm telling you, trying to lose.
Yeah.
And
Are
then
you not tempted? Are
a
you not
charge on the
tempted?
shrine
Oh, sorry, Karen.
that you missed.
When your Dracons were sitting there behind that house, his shrine was on the hill. You could see it.
Height 6.
Oh, it's height
Well,
6.
no, the house is height bajillions, right?
Height 7.
All right, how's height 6?
Oh, I should read the pack.
So same height. So same height.
I don't think reading the pack has an effect on this, Keith. You're just trying to And what we were saying is there's a very clear line of sight from the front point of that. And it's one of those things where, you'll look back at it and you'll just literally take your palm, right, and apply it to your forehead in a very, very quick fashion.
I thought the shrine's height 3, and I thought buildings were height 6.
Shrine's height 4.
Shrine's height 4.
No, the shrine is height 3.
No.
The
shrine is
that a
height
typo?
4. No. Let's
It's
get
4
into
on
this.
the list.
Even if it was 3, it doesn't make a difference. But the fact that it's height 4, right, is the important thing. So, not an important thing at all. The fact that you can actually draw a line that goes past the building onto the shrine, the fact it was height 3, and then Elliot is trying to point out the book, because he doesn't get to do that very often. Essentially means that you'd have had a flank onto the shrine. Yeah, but let's be honest, right? The fact that you rolled a 9 and then a double 6 kind of makes up for the fact that you fucked that up.
I mean, this is going to be one of those games that the box score looks really good, but the play does not deserve it. So I'll take it.
And fortunately, we have recorded and preserved that sloppy play for everyone to come appreciate.
This is what happens when you don't play for 4 months and you play a brand new army.
Alex, you have
for the world.
Every excuse in the book. I've already pointed out that we threw you under the bus and gave you a new army, and then you fucked it up by taking an army you're not used to, right? Yeah. But that's fine, right?
Hey.
Yeah.
I just figured just double down on just brand new. I'm like, show the world what Rift Forged Orcs could be in the hands of someone who has no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
There you
go. I was just giving you guys a lot of ammo. Like, I know Brinton was excited to talk about how, this Rift Forged Orcs are a strong army in the hands of someone else, potentially.
To be fair, I didn't talk nearly enough shit during that broadcast about you.
That's still time.
So, I mean, I will.
I find that very hard to believe. I'm just going to say. Right?
Now that you're back and you're in front, I can say, if you want to know what Alex thinks about the changes and what's strong in the Rift Forged list, we just have to wait for Tom Robinson to make a list.
Right.
It's true. It's just how it always plays.
Or Corey Reynolds, or anyone else who's good. I'll just take their list.
Yep. I think the nice thing I can say about Alex is I think he's an incredible person who's a very strong pilot of other people's lists.
What I can say is that Alex is willing to try different things.
Yes.
It's on his dating profile.
And
All right.
Always open.
Keith used the exact same list that he's always using, and
For
just
5 years?
2010.
hoped it would be better.
Years? Yeah.
And just
Okay.
rolled fucking shit hot. All right, let's be honest.
Hey,
right?
only late. Early, I was rolling.
It doesn't matter when it happens, as long as you roll shit hot.
All right. Any other thoughts about the game or the rules changes or your lists from the players?
Cock 22 is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm going to read the pack for the next couple rounds.
Yeah, I gotta double check my army list. Make sure I got the heights sorted out.
Yeah, what I did want to say though is, I know we joke about making fun of you, and it's always tough.
You
but,
don't
like,
joke about making fun of us. You just
No, you actually do make fun of us pretty pointedly, continuously.
I do want to say, like, thanks so much for coming on stream and playing new army lists, new rules, etc. I know that can be daunting when you have sort of the world watching, and they are, because they want to see the new stuff. But thanks for stepping up and taking part, because that's it gives us a lot of great content to watch. And it was a good game to watch. It was a lot of fun. So.
It was a really good fun game to watch.
Yeah. Thank you for being the sacrificial guinea pigs, willing to stumble through a minefield with all of the grace of a just starting puberty 13-year-old.
That's like a little bit more grace than I normally have. So
And
Sure.
I brought my A game for you guys.
And as much as I talk shit, I'm just kidding. Alex is really a great guy and a strong player. But Keith, I mean everything I said.
Sounds right. That sounds right.
He's a lawyer too. He plays elves and he's a lawyer. Let's get this straight, folks. He's
Yeah.
the scum of the earth.
Also point out that Alex has excellent taste in shirts, as we are wearing the same shirt. Everybody. For sale on
Check
dash28.org if you're interested in purchasing a Jesse Cordwell Memorial shirt. Proceeds go to the Humane Society of West Virginia. So coming up tomorrow.
Kittens, isn't it? So, carry on. Yeah.
Yes, that. So coming up tomorrow, we're going to have Jeremy Duvall versus Ed Herzig at 6 p.m. GMT, 1 p.m. EST right here. You can subscribe to get reminders. Other than that, we will see you guys next time. Again, thanks to Elliot and Keith had to drop off because his phone was buzzing.
I was going to say, if you enjoyed Keith and I on the battlefield, I was joined by Keith and Keith Conroy on a recent podcast for Countercharge. So that will be airing in a week or two about our first kind of blush interpretations of COG 22 from the eyes of two experienced players and their lists.
Awesome. We'll keep our eyes open for that then.
So not you then. Carry on.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no, I just moderate. It's all them, so don't worry.
Cool. So congrats to Keith on the win, and thanks Alex and Keith for putting it all out there for us today. Much appreciated. And thanks again to Elliot, Britton, and Ryan and John for hanging out and talking to me about this game. And once again, big thanks to John for organizing this whole event. Thank you so much. I know you had to do a lot of paperwork and cat herding and wrangling and whatnot to make this happen. So certainly appreciate you bringing the content.
Narcissistic, just to name after himself.
Apparently
I get the kudos through just association.
Apparently the world has a lot of time zones.
It does. It really,
We
really
found
does.
out with
Just
this
a few.
To be honest,
Turns out there's a lot.
if the British
Well,
Empire
no.
had tried a bit harder, that wouldn't be a problem.
I mean, I'll be honest, right? We all work to GMT. Carry on.
We tried our best to take over the world, but you all wanted it back.
It's all relates.
I think I heard a statistic that what is it, the most common national holiday in the world is a country celebrating its independence from the British Empire.
Yeah, so you're welcome. You all get a day off work.
Exactly.
There are more of those than
it all relates to the fact that we owned you at some point. Carry on.
at some point.
You know, there's some slightly dark bits of the British history, but you know, you get a holiday.
Just a few dark bits.
That's right. We get lots of holidays. There's like 14 or 16 of them around the world.
I'm in California.
British.
So I'm in California. So let me know how many British forts were on that coast.
Just
As
tell
you-
me how
as-
you exist.
as
It's
you-
a very
Carry
long
on.
way away, and we didn't fancy
As you drive up and down all the Spanish named streets and Catholic missions. And... Anyway, we stole our country. Let's move along.
You should do.
So
Win this
anyway,
game.
join us tomorrow for more, and of course next weekend for round 2 of group play. We will probably try to feature matches from the other 2 groups because we've got 4 groups and we're only doing 2 of them this weekend.
There's some good fucking lists out there that is going to be
There are.
quality.
It is going to be fun. We haven't picked them yet, but in the next few days we'll probably look at the matches for next round and decide which ones we want to do, and then we'll be posting those up. So keep your eyes open for them. They'll probably be in similar time slots of like a Friday afternoon, evening, and a Saturday afternoon, evening. And I think that's about it. So until next time, I'm your host, Mike Atkins, saying you stay safe out there, and we will see you next time on Dash 28 Live. Bye, everybody.